He fell back for a second, a couple spots, but he's back up there to third.
And it looks like the fight is going to be for third because he's got a hungry pack of cars that are chasing him. Got some quick guys there, Michael Wilson, Bruce DeCarvalho, who was in a bit of trouble earlier. Mark Anderson, that's a big train of cars running all the way down to about the 10th position.
Yeah, that is. That's a lot of competitors coming up at him. He's got to stay focused and keep that smooth, consistent laps going. He doesn't need to get a little pressured there.
But if we look a little bit back further down through the field, everyone is nose to tail from about, say, 15th place on back. They're still going at it hammer and tong, and they're not looking like they're going to let up anytime soon.
Yeah, right now behind, if you look all the way back to 7th or 16th, look at Graham Filan there. Good old Bones behind him from 17th, 18th. It's all nose to tail, and I mean, it is really picking up. We're side by side here going into turn 1.
That's three rows of cars 2x2. It's NASCAR stuff out there into turn 1. Amazing.
Yeah, it's a huge bunch of cars around the 20th position backwards.
Oh, that was
There's
a
probably
beautiful pass.
10 cars all covered by about a second and a half.
Yeah, we see Andrew Williams, who's in 20th position. He's getting a lot of pressure from behind. You see guys there like Josh Burden and Jamie Fuchs, Scott Connor. A lot of these guys running side by side in places that you wouldn't normally think is possible.
Good battle. It is starting to break out in the top 5, though, guys. Michael Wilson here in 4th, and then right behind him, one spot behind, is Mark Anderson there. That is a battle for 4th, but it's starting to commence here. And as soon as Mark Anderson closed in, though, Michael Wilson's starting to try to break away.
These guys up the front of the pack will be feeling a lot better about their positions. A lot easier to predict a straight-up fight when you can sort of get the measure of the guys, find their lap times, but the competition in this split already has been immense. So still got their work cut out for them. Simon Madden's probably the only guy feeling comfortable at the moment. 4.5 seconds his lead over Chris Brooks. But every other position from there on back is certainly not spoken for.
Boy, good battle around the 8th and 9th positions right here. 3-car battle for position. A bump to turn 1 there. We see from Henry King, and that was it's a 3-car battle. This is really close racing. Pretty Carroll now starting to break away from these other two, but for a moment there, it was touch and go racing.
Yeah, he certainly got a good run out of turn 1 down into the S's there, Martin Carroll. Lance Perkins, just having a look, he's dropped back. He was 7th on the grid. He's dropped back a couple of spots, but a guy right behind him, Henry King, he's moved up from 16th on the grid, so he's had a good race so far.
Now, once again, the race marshals. I'm hearing a message through that there's an incident on the track that's going to be subject to a post-race investigation. That's between cars 36, which is David Baxter, and car 548, which is Andrew Williams. So that will be reviewed after the race, and if there's deemed to be any sort of wrongdoing, no doubt there'll be penalties handed down in one way or another.
And it's got to be careful out here when you have, you got the stewards watching you closely. It's like you said, it's a whole new standard of racing out here. These boys know that, and they have to expect what's to be expected of them.
Now we are 5 laps to go in this race, 12 laps around Circuit of the Americas. And it's still Simon Madden with a strong lead over Chris Brooks and Aaron Hamilton. Those guys are fighting for the final podium spots. Michael Wilson is under a bit of pressure, however, for Mark Anderson. Wilson was looking like he might be challenging for the podium, but we've got Anderson coming through pretty quick in the 06 car.
Yeah, that 06 car.
Yeah, of course, Mark.
Go ahead there, Brooks.
I was going to say, Mark Anderson's no stranger to the V8. He's been in it for a while now, and with the guys doing pre-qualifying determining this race, the order's been mixed up a bit.
Well, he had a bit of a dive there. Wasn't able to pull it off, JD. What do you think?
Yeah, here he is now going to try to make a move on the inside. He doesn't get the grip he needed to make the move on the Oceanic machine. Mark Anderson, a kamikaze race, and he's trying his best, trying to get around this. This is a big position. This is a 4th place, guys. And Mark Anderson has the ability to make this pass. He's just going to show patience to pull it off.
He is all over him at the moment. Great bit of driving there by Michael Wilson to hold on. He kept his cool under pressure. Still got 4 laps ahead of him to try and hold off Mark Anderson, though.
What both these drivers need to remember, though, they're in the top 5. We don't have much left in this race, but you don't want to end up getting in an incident where you knock both of these 2 cars out of that top 5, and both these drivers know that. So that's why you're seeing this. It's close, but it's clean racing.
That's right, but at the same time, the fight for second is starting to heat up. Aaron Hamilton putting a load of pressure on Chris Brooks. They were nose to tail in the final turn, and as I say that, Anderson has a dive at turn 1, can't pull it off. Pull in behind the Osram car. Great racing with the top 5.
Yeah, this is what you want. This is what we were expecting as we were getting ready to head here for our inaugural week here of this Premier Series. And look at this. Aaron Hamilton hit that curve very hard. He might even have got some damage on his car there. That definitely let Chris Brooks kind of move up a little bit. That's going to be about a car length and a half distance between the two.
With 4 laps to go, you're going hell for leather. There's no need to worry about curbs too much here. They'll bash them hard and give it everything they can, I reckon. Seems like the rest of the field is sort of going Brooksy.
I was just going to say, meanwhile, all these guys behind Simon Madden are battling. He's out a 5.5 second lead. He's got the prestigious award of taking the first pole position award in this online Premier Series, and he's looking good to take the first win in the series.
Absolutely, done everything right so far as Simon Madden. It was a very, very tight grid through the qualifying for Split 2 here. Of course, there's drivers competing for 80 spots in our top-level Premier Series. There's only 40 that can go for the top split, and we've got another 40 positions available for this second split, the Development Series, and times were very, very close. So Simon Madden will be very happy, I think, with this result.
I got Mark DiCarlo and Martin Carroll side by side into turn 1.
Guys, as they head down into turn 1, Marty Carroll's got the inside advantage, so he should be able to pull this off, and he's going to do so. But here's a chance by DiCarlo. I said it wrong again. I'm sorry there, Bruce. But a good job there by Marty Carroll getting through there. That was good side-by-side racing, boys.
The 3-car fight behind him as well. So it seems that everywhere you look, whenever a battle opens up, it just sucks other drivers in, which is a great thing. We see Lance Perkins back there, and that Henry King going to get side-by-side as well, with Josh Beecraft in it.
Yeah, it looked like Lance Perkins ran a bit wide. He might have got a slowdown there, but he doesn't seem to have...
Mark Anderson now side-by-side. Sorry to run up there with you, buddy, but Mark Anderson and Michael Wilson side-by-side. Big racing. And right now, here he comes. Let's look at Mark Anderson going to try to make this stick. He has it there. And what a pass we see from the KRT driver right there. That's a good friend, Mark Anderson, with a beautiful pass. Let's see if Michael Wilson can get this rebound here.
Tell you, Anderson did a beautiful job to cover the switchback, but Wilson isn't having it yet. Oh,
gets a little bump and run attempt there. And here comes Marty Carroll with all that happening.
And he's got it.
He's got it. He come in right behind. That's what happens. 2 guys get to battling it out with one another. And here comes Marty Carroll out of nowhere. Beautiful job.
Let's put Marty Carroll up into the top 5 position.
Absolutely great run there.
That's a big move for him. That's got to be a huge confidence booster. And let me tell you something, with Marty, when he gets some confidence going, he is a dangerously good driver. And I think we're seeing the return of his confidence. He's been doing better and better every race I've seen him in.
Michael Wilson, I think, still going to be hungry because he's all over the back of Martin Carroll. Not going to let that 5th position go. But still, we're on a lap and a half remaining for Simon Madden. He's about half that back straightaway ahead of Chris Brooks, and the fight for second is still not over yet.
If I could train your eyes back to 16th spot, Tim Foltz, Creamer, and Josh Burden and Williams, they're having an awesome battle back here.
That's 3 cars nose to tail coming through the S's.
And Williams is giving Burden. Williams giving Burden a big hurry up there through the S's.
I thought they were about to go side by side through the chicane, which would have been pretty hairy. This is a huge train of cars, all still nose to tail, all still fighting.
No, side by side now. Andrew Williams going to try to pull it out. won't be able to do so. He had it for a second, but
He goes for the switchback.
oh, and we got a car
Oh.
loose. That's Joshua Burton who's going to get loose there and lose the position. Big mistake there. Little mistake, big result there. Another side-by-side right behind them, boys. That's going to be Jamie Fuchs, and he's going side-by-side right now with Scott Connors. Scott Connors trying not to lose this, but he does. He's not going to be able to make that stick. That's going to be Fuchs with the pass.
We got Jason Dickinson. He's got a late black flag in this race, which is unfortunate for him. I'm not sure where it happened on track.
It still just serves as a reminder that you got to keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, but that's what makes for great racing. We've seen a lot of that tonight. With half a lap remaining, it's Simon Madden who's in the box seat here, 7.2 seconds clear of Chris Brooks. But Brooks and Hamilton, they're still fighting hard for second position.
Yeah, I started watching this race, or this battle again on track, boys, and it is heating up just as good as it has been all race. They know what this is. This is it. They've got to make it happen now. And I don't know if Aaron Hamilton's got it in him to catch up to Chris Brooks. It's going to be close.
Yeah, no, Chris has ran some very tidy lines, just placed the car perfectly these last few laps, managed to hold Aaron Hamilton back in third spot.
Fighting for fourth is still on though. It'll be great to see how these positions all resolve themselves because there's only a couple of corners remaining. Everyone eager to get... What do you see, JD?
Oh, I'm just watching this battle for fourth, and Marty's moved back up to catch Mark Anderson. I thought Mark Anderson was riding out with his fourth place spot. It may not be that way.
I'll tell you who has been riding out. It's Simon Madden. He's come around the final corner. He's going to take the checkered flag and the first ever win in the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. Great result for Simon Madden, but these other positions are still on.
Yeah, still coming across. You're going to see Chris Brooks in second, Aaron Hamilton in third. And the battle for fourth ends with Mark Anderson taking it. Rounding out the top five, it is going to be Marty Carroll.
Still
big
got
just
guys
having a-
fighting as they come through.
Having a look, guys, I've got number 30, Scott Connors. He's got a after race points penalty for an incident with car 50, which was Jamie Fuchs.
Oh, boy. So we got some stories here from this first ever race, and I tell you what, it's been a learning experience, but I think this is a huge success. These drivers need to be very proud of what they've done.
Absolutely. I think everyone would be happy with the great racing that we've seen. There'll be some drivers that won't be too happy, but that's why we've got those marshals. But the happiest of all is going to be Simon Madden. He takes the win after 12 laps at Circuit of the Americas. A 7.5 second win over Chris Brooks, so a crushing win there for Madden. And how about Brooks in second and Aaron Hamilton rounding out the podium? A great result for everyone here.
Yeah, it certainly was, and Mark Anderson did well. He kept that fourth position away from Marty Carroll in fifth. Wilson fell back to sixth in the late stages. Richard Carvalho getting seventh spot. He drove outstanding.
Yeah, Marty Carroll, you got to give this guy credit. Starts in the 10th spot today, and in 12 laps times, we'll finish the race, as you know, in fifth. So top five for him, big day.
That's the first one run and done, guys. So to get everybody up to speed with the format that we're going to be going through tonight, each one of these V8 Supercar Online Premier Series events is going to have the two splits that we mentioned. There's going to be what we're calling the development series that we see right here, the shorter race, but there's also the main event, which is still coming up. That's the one that we're all waiting for, and that's going to be 40 laps of the best of the online V8 Supercar drivers tonight. There's going to be a qualifying session coming up pretty soon where everybody fights for the first ever pole position in the series, and then it's going to be a great race to start this series off. I can't wait for that.
Boy, I'm excited. I woke up early this morning. I was so excited.
And part of the
big thanks.
excitement, I was going to say, part of the excitement is these guys are going to have realistic weather turned on. They haven't been able to practice with that weather, so would see a lot of jostling position as guys come to grips with that.
Yeah, we have got a lot of changes to go through, a lot of things to mention and make note of. So it's going to be a pretty big night for us.
It really is, boys. We've got a lot of big drivers to see. I mean, we had some huge names in this development series, and I thought they performed well. I really did. For the amount of cars, I know I heard a lot of guys talking about how would this 40 car field do, and our 39 car field today here at the development series. But at a tough track like Circuit of the Americas, that maybe a lot of guys haven't had a lot of time on, and I have to say, job well done.
Well, I think all the questions have been answered. Can you do it? 39 cars around this place? Absolutely. Can they do it without dramas? I don't think we were disappointed. I think that we might as well run through the results for this race because, of course, as we mentioned, Simon Madden taking the win over Chris Brooks, Aaron Hamilton, Mark Anderson, and Marty Carroll, the top 5. Michael Wilson, Bruce DeCarvalho, Lance Perkins, Heath Brennan, and Henry King round out a very strong top 10.
Yeah, looking back at 11, it's going to be Joshua Beecroft, Alan Meyer, Graham Filand, Darrell Gale in 14th, 15th, Tim Faltis, and Martin Creamer 16th, 17th, Andrew Williams, 18th went to Joshua Burton, while 19th went to Scott Connors. We round out your top 20 with Luke Emerton.
Yeah, and in 21st spot we had Andrew Gaines, Trent Thomas in 22nd, Peter Barlow 23rd, 24th went to Carwin May, 25th Paul Keegan, Jason Harmon in 26th, James Scanlon 27th, Jamie Fuchs in 28th, Greg Sharp 29th, and 30th went to Mark Warmington.
And rounding out the field, Jason Dixon, James McKnight, David Baxter, Sam Compton, Reese Goldfitch, and Brad Newman either all had dramas of some sort. And that's going to complete the field for the first ever Development Series race for the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series. Now we've got the main game, the big stuff happening.
Absolutely. I'm stoked, guys. I do want to make a quick correction. 36 car field. I know I said 39th earlier. But anyways, I can't wait. This is going to be some of the best this is the best drivers in the V8 Supercar that we have in this series. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable. This is the best of the best, and this is going to be one of the first time we've seen this many of them on a track at one time tonight. I hope you guys are excited.
Absolutely.
You know, talking about a race like this that we have tonight, guys, just what are you expecting? I mean, you always have your expectations, and then some, you know, after the race, we maybe totally what you expected, or maybe a 100% against your expectations.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard one to pick, JD. Like I just mentioned before, the weather, we've got to cover the no escape rule in qualifying, could really mix the grid up. And these guys are going to be racing for keeps. It's only a 7-race series, so you've got to get off to a good start. So, going to be a very hard race to pick, and the qualifying times so far in pre-qual have been so close. So I really can't pick a winner.
Oh, it's too hard. It's too hard. I'm just when I say what I'm expecting from this series, I believe it's going to go down to that final race on that 7th race on who takes this thing. It's going to take 7 great weeks. You cannot have a mistake. I believe you're absolutely right. When you come into this thing and you have only 7 weeks to perform, that leaves no room for error. It'd be different if we were coming in here talking about a 20 or even a 14 race schedule, but no sir, 7 weeks to perform well, 7 races. When you look at it like that, you have to realize how important each one of these races is, and that brings the importance of this very first race right here at Circuit of the Americas that we're going to be seeing in just a little bit. So qualifying going to be huge. We see how hard it is to move up through this field. Track position going to be very, very important.
Really a case of learning everything anew, because it's going to be very different compared to what we have seen in the past. There's a lot of changes we've been over, a lot more that we'll cover, I'm sure, but the biggest thing of all, I think, is going to be the intensity and the drive that every single person involved in this is going to have. Everybody wants that glory of being the first person to take a pole position, first person to lead a lap, first person to take a race win. And I think that we're going to see some of the hardest driving these drivers have ever put on for us. We've seen great races in the past, and they're only going to ramp it up for us tonight, I expect.
Oh, you know it. The drivers are so pumped up for this. We're pumped up for this. And I know all the viewers out there are pumped up as well. So this is a very great thing, and I'm excited to see how it's going to turn out.
Now, just to run through how it's going to work tonight, there is going to be a qualifying session to determine the pole winner for the first ever event. We had pre-qualifying through the week to determine the field for tonight's race. 40 drivers that are going to be taking part tonight. But we're still going to have one session to determine the pole winner and the lineup for tonight's race. It's going to be different to what they've dealt with for the couple of days in the lead up, because as Brooks mentioned, we've got realistic weather tonight, so temperature could change, winds could change. It's going to be pretty important to nail that one lap.
Yeah, and of course, I think we should cover before we go into qualifying. There's a no escape rule. A lot of times the guys just, after they do their lap, hit the button on the steering wheel and it sends them back to the pits. Of course, in this qualifying session, you have to drive it back to the pits. So if you damage your car too bad and can't get it back to the pits, you're out of qualifying, which could be a huge, huge blow to anyone trying to get it up there on pole position.
Absolutely. Now, I just thought we'd have a quick run through here. We're mentioning about what the drivers are expecting, how they're dealing with, this different sort of setup here. We might as well talk to one of the big movers through the development series race, because Marty Carroll's joined us in the booth here, starting from 10th on the grid, worked it all the way up to 5th position. Great drive, Marty. And how'd you find it out there?
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Man, it was a lot of fun. I've got to say, a lot of drivers in that field that you wouldn't expect it to be a development race. That's for sure.
Yeah, it looked very competitive out there. Drivers all racing very hard. We were just mentioning that that you got a lot of the passion, a lot of the drive to be the first person to get a pole, get a podium, get a top 5, that sort of stuff. And we saw a lot of high quality racing. And yeah, I think it's been a great success, and no doubt you'd be feeling it too. Great drive. We paid a bit of focus to that all the way up to 5th, mate. So got to be happy.
Yeah, real happy. Another lap. I might have got Mark Anderson there and snuck up a bit further. I got hung out in the first turn, which we always knew there was going to be a large concertina with 40 cars on the track. But everyone sort of followed through there reasonably well. I didn't hear too much carnage going on at the back. And there was a bit of elbows out driving in front of me that I had to be patient with. But all in all, a good outing for myself. And a few of my fellow SDC boys were not so lucky. But the format that the OSR boys and the V8s Online guys have put on is absolutely unbelievable, and you're definitely looking forward to the main event here. Unfortunately, with Circuit of the Americas not being a favoured track of mine, I just missed out on making the main event, but looking forward to the next round, that's for sure.
Absolutely, mate. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for getting involved in the racing, and no doubt you're looking forward to the next one in about a fortnight's time, as we all are. So we'll let you get back to it and enjoy the main game, because we're in for one exciting night of racing. Thanks again, Marty Carroll.
No worries. Thank you, Leo. And a big shout out to JD and Kane for getting up early in the morning over there in the US and broadcasting the show for us. They have just as much passion for it as we do, and all the drivers love and respect them for that.
Oh, man, you're the man, Marty. We appreciate it, big guy.
No worries. Thank you. I've got to go crew for the boys now.
Absolutely. That's it. Good job, Marty.
Thanks again, guys.
And Marty Carroll there of SDC Motorsports, beautiful job today. He really showed he deserved to be there today. He really did, guys.
So now, of course, we turn our attention to the main game and to qualifying. It's going to be a 30-minute session, and as Brooksy was touching on, it's going to be very similar to what you'd see in the real world there. You'll have an out lap, you'll have a couple of hot laps. If you make a mistake, well, there's no all of a sudden instant teleport back to the pits like you might expect in an online series like this. You're going to have to really watch your marks, try not to cause a red flag, and if you crash, you're out. So keep it tidy, boys.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool the first time we see this, guys. And I think it's a great thing. It brings us more to a realistic qualifying. You know, you can't have the guys that are pushing so hard they're on the verge of losing the car and there be no consequences. This time there is very, very much big consequences if they push more than their car can handle. They're trying to squeeze out all the time they can. They, damage their car. You mentioned it. There's no quick tow. If they can't drive it back around and get it repaired, their qualifying is over. And I think that is wonderful. I think that's something that is really going to be great for this.
And of course, this series, we welcome back our pit reporter in Reese Gardner. How are you, Reese?
I'm not doing too bad, guys. How are we? I am incredibly pumped for this.
Certainly are, mate. You got it all covered down there in pit lane?
Yeah, mostly. I've been having a bit of trouble actually getting information out of people as usual. With the level these guys are competing on, a lot of stuff is kept incredibly secret, but I have gotten some strategy info from a few select people overhearing a couple of conversations in the garage. I do know that one particular team is discussing whether to take 7.5 litres at their pit stop, and that you need 30 litres in the tank in order to take tyres without losing too much time. So there will be people going for tyres in this race, definitely. 40-lap race here at Circuit of the Americas West, and out they go for qualifying.
Yeah, of course, all the drivers are welcome the new tyre model onto this car for this season, and reports have been that they do drop off a fair bit, so tyres will be a big issue with 40 laps around this circuit.
Oh yeah, certainly. I did hear quite a bit about the new tyre model for the V8 Supercar in this, what is scheduled to be the final season for this car before we transition over to the new or current generation V8 Supercars. And yeah, the fact that these tyres fall off very quickly should make for some very interesting racing. I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I'm sure you guys are too.
Now, I should just explain, we've got pictures coming through, guys. There is about 5 minutes remaining in the warm-up session for all of the drivers out there, and then we'll be getting qualifying underway. 30 minutes of qualifying, real world rules as we've touched on, and this is what's going to set the grid for us here tonight. But we should probably run through, it's been a very tight field out there. Looking at some important names, Mitch McLeod was the provisional pole sitter for the series. He set a lap of a 1:31.104, which is very competitive when you look at everybody else out through there. And we look through the field and it's been very tight. The first 36 cars, less than a second separating them, so really impressive stuff.
Yeah, and this session looks a little bit slower than the pre-qualifying sessions, obviously with this weather changing. Madison down currently in practice and in the warm-up, 31.9 with Sean Kelly and Jared Filsell right behind him, both with 31.9s as well.
Oh, you look at this, guys. I mean, you got to take a special approach to qualifying, and there is a lot of strategy involved with qualifying. Like you mentioned, you're going to have not only just your hot laps anymore. You're going to have your of course, your out lap, but you're going to have some flying laps and then a hot lap. Maybe if guys trying to put certain heat in tires, you have different strategies for different drivers, and we're going to see that.
The other thing that's going to be pretty helpful compared to what we've experienced in the past, we've got a slightly longer session, 30 minutes. 10 minutes might not seem like much, but it does give the drivers a bit more of an opportunity to get those out laps sorted, make any changes to deal with the conditions, because that's another thing, you know, if the wind changes, if it gets a bit hotter out there, you might have to jump into the pits and repressure those tyres. Who knows what you could have to do, and I think it's going to come down to thinking on your toes, and whoever is going to be able to adjust to the changing conditions the best is going to be the guy who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, of course, Leo, and you're looking at around 5 to 6 minutes with an out lap, a fast lap, and then an in lap, and then any adjustments. So 5 to 6 minutes, it's only going to give you really about 5 good goes at a fast lap. So they're going to have to really be on their toes, and it's so easy to get an off track around this place. I know quite a few drivers have modified their steering wheel so their escape button isn't wired to their steering wheel so they can't press it out of habit.
That's probably a move.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Out of habit, you know, we may have somebody that hits it just out of repetition. So that's a really good idea.
I guess we should probably take this opportunity before qualifying to run through the field that's going to be competing here tonight, because it is a big field of drivers, it is a strong field of drivers. We'll cover these qualifying times because this is going to be the lineup as they've sat through pre-qualifying. This is how the drivers qualified for this event tonight. Top 40 drivers through qualifying, pre-qualifying for this event. Provisional pole sitter was Mitchell McLeod with a 1:31.104. Sean Kelly was second, followed by Madison Down. We also had Jared Filsell, Richard Hampstead, Bo Cubis, Renz Brookman, Leighton Fine, Lee Ellis, and Matthew Hill are the top 10 drivers in pre-qualifying.
I'll go ahead with the top 20, my friend, still loading in.
Yeah, in number 11th, we had Dean O'Brien in the Osram Falcon, Jake Burton in 12th, 13th went to Tony Ortridge and Curtis Chipway 14th. 15th went to Wayne Burke, John Latham 16th, 17th Chad Chastain, Damien Butler got 18th, 19th went to Christopher Dickinson, and Dylan Shepherd rounded out the top 20 in pre-qualifying.
Carrying on from 21st, Robert Hooper took the 21st position. Nigel Baines, Tobias Cerny, Michael Fulcher, Marlon McMullen, Corey Preston, Bobby Yanovich, Ian Ford, Matt Yeomans, and Chris Coxhead in 30th spot.
Yeah, and Michael Schreier got 31, Brad Smith 32nd, Hayden Dudeman in 33, 34th went to Stephen Sandman Clark, 35th went to Richard Arwood, Todd Parks in 36, Kurt Stenberg 37th, 38th Dale Niche, 39th Blake Coppo, and just scraping in was Philip Johansson in 40th spot.
We look through that field, there's some big names, don't you reckon, JD? Big names. It's like the who's who of V8 Supercar racing. A lot of guys who've been very successful in the online series, in the Americas series, and it's going to be a big one.
Boys, I mean, you're talking, you mentioned it's the who's of the V8 Supercars on this service, and I'm telling you, these are the best of the best. What you're watching right now, guys, is what you want to be. I mean, if you're entering as a driver and thinking about coming into the world of V8s, this is who you need to look up to. These are the best of the best, and it's exciting.
And here we go. Green flag waved for qualifying. There's a train of cars coming out of the pits. That's huge. Here we go. Qualifying. 30 minutes, Circuit of the Americas, and it is a traffic jam at pit exit.
You might have to wait a minute and just say, hey, I'm going to kind of wait till the road clears out a bit, and we may see some guys do that. Yeah, starting to see some do that. Tony Ottridge and Nigel Baines, some of those thinking about coming out later.
Absolutely. Track position is going to be critical for qualifying.
Boy, you don't want to. I mean, it is a traffic jam out of turn one, guys, coming down here as we get entered through the S's. It's still a pretty. And as we see, look, there's a good example. Michael Schreier kind of holding back. He's cruising at about 50 mph, man, just kind of waiting for the field to kind of clear out. It's a lot of cars on track.
I think what we'll notice, though, is that there are a couple of guys who were quite eager to get out right on the start and managed to do so. Got Marlon McMullen, Stephen Clark, and Madison Down, all with clear track. They'll be pretty happy with that. But still a traffic jam as this huge field of cars tries to sort themselves out.
There could be. I was going to say, JD, there could be a real chance of Marlon McMullen catching these slow cars. He's really bolted from the pit lane, and he's just about to start his lap now.
I'll tell you another one, too. It just made a move. Interesting. He kind of just cut through a couple corners to get some open track space. Was Richard Hampstead there, and he found some open track space, so I bet we'll see him out on his hot lap in just a second.
Now I do want to have a look and see who's got a bit of clear track, who's got the position at the moment. I do want to focus on the fast guys through pre-qualifying, guys like Mitchell McLeod, Sean Kelly, and Madison Down, because there was absolutely nothing in it between those guys. Jared Filsell as well. You had barely, not even a tenth of a second separating first through fourth.
I've been watching Madison Down lap. It's looked very smooth so far. He's got plenty of good track position. He's behind teammate in Stephen Clark. Going to be interesting to see whether they do 2 fast laps or if they're just going to do the one and go back to pit lane as well.
Well, I think for the start of the session, you're going to need to set a banker. That's probably going to be the main strategy for everyone out there, is just set a lap so that you know you're on the board. and then push even harder, because if you make a mistake and fence it and you haven't set a lap time, that's going to be an absolute disaster. And we're going to have Marlon McMullen to cross the line for the first flying lap. It's a 33.8, so a fair bit off what we've seen in pre-qualifying, and Madison down to the top with a 32.0. So time's looking to be a bit under a second off at the moment, but we'll see these times fall throughout the session, I am sure of it.
Yeah, that 32.0, that was very close to the time set in warm-up just before this session. So it's a good lap time there from Madison.
Not wrong, and he's still, I mean, there's only been 8 other drivers set a time, but he's 2/10 clear of his next best competitor, which is Sean Kelly.
Yeah, Sean Kelly, a fantastic driver in the higher. He comes in pretty hot. He won the V8's America Series this past season, as you know we covered, and he's just a driver that continues to get better. I mean, he's just unbelievable talent. He's right there, good time posted.
Also interesting to note, we've got guys like Blake Copper, who's not usually in the V8 Supercar. This series has brought him back to it, so it's good to see that. And he's sitting in 8th at the moment, so good job into the 32s by Blake Copper.
Yeah, the ability for people to get into this series based upon pure speed rather than iRating is another big appeal. And as well, the likes of everyone into the pit, so it looks like one lap and in is the name of the game.
Yeah, I was going to mention there, Leo, I don't think the tyres will really hold up to 2 laps. You only get really 1 good lap out of it, so of course, unless you get that off track, or you might just have to do a slower lap to get that banker in.
Absolutely, because the same rules will apply from the qualifying sessions that we've seen in the past. You get an off track, which is getting at least half the car off the racing circuit. You're at risk of having that lap disqualified, so you need to make sure it's a clean lap, clean and tidy, so no cutting the circuit, no dropping any wheels off. But that way we know every single time that has been set is fair and complete. There's 28 drivers to have set a time at this early point in the session, with Madison down with the lead, a 32.0. Sean Kelly, Lee Ellis, Bo Cubis and Leighton Fine, the top 5.
Yeah, and I just noticed Richard Hampstead on an out lap at the moment, still to set a time. Same with Renz Brookman, 2 of the faster guys in this series, but neither have set a time yet, so they'll be keen to get on with it. And unfortunately, I'm getting word through that Chris Coxhead wasn't able to join the server, so all the spots were taken. Apparently, someone joined that wasn't meant to, so it's unfortunate for Chris. He will not be able to race tonight.
Man, that's been unfortunate.
Chris Coxhead's one of those guys that doesn't necessarily have the real fast iRating, but his speed got him into this top split in pre-qualifying, so he'd be quite devastated, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, real shame. Our thoughts go out to him. But a new series, a lot of lessons to be learned, a lot of new experiences, so hats off to everyone for getting this all organised. Obviously, this example didn't go the way that we would have hoped, but I'm sure that everyone will get their heads together and make sure this doesn't happen in the future. Question for right now will be what that pole time is going to end up as. Madison Down still has it, a 32.0. Very keen to see if he can improve on that time or if anyone else can bridge the gap. Currently it's Sean Kelly, 2/10 back in second. And then still a big gap back to Lee Ellis. So Madison Down's got 6/10 over third position.
Yeah, that's what this format of qualifying was going to throw up there, Leo, is guys, I say, at the start have been a little bit cautious, making sure they get that time in.
I guess we should also make mention of how it runs at the moment, the weather conditions. It's partly cloudy in Texas at Circuit of the Americas, 18 degrees Celsius out there, bit of a wind up though, it's 18 kilometres an hour at the moment. So Be interesting to see how that changes throughout the session, and indeed if it's any different throughout the race. A fair while to go. We've got only 8 minutes completed. There's still more than 20 minutes of qualifying to come.
Boy, when you have this much time, it's hard to. It sounds like you should be able to throw a fast lap up in a 30-minute period, but it's more to that. And for some of the newer viewers watching it, it's a lot more when you think about you're not just always on your hot lap. You have to get out there and you have your out lap. You have things that happen. You have one slip up on your hot lap, and you have to go back and try again. These guys are so close up here at the top. I mean, we're all within a second in the top, just in the top 13 right now. We're all within 1 second of each other, and this thing's just gotten underway. So imagine how tight this field's going to be by the time we're done with this qualifying.
Yeah, we got Wayne Burke up into 4th spot. Outstanding lap there from Wayne.
Now we see the time start to fall as everyone closes in on that pole position lap. Madison Down has actually bettered his time, but it was only by 7 thousandths of a second. How's that for consistency? He went from a 32.008 to a 0.001.
7 thousandths faster. He'll take it.
Yeah, hey, that's a difference. If you have a look through the pre-qualifying, you know, there's some people that would have been pretty happy with that.
Oh,
Very happy with that, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a fantastic time. I think a time will beat that before we're out of here. But I think that's a fantastic. But if you're Madison Down, you're driving around going, "Oh, so I almost hit 131s." So we all know that benchmark, man. It's a tough one to hit, and I believe somebody will hit it. If not, about 5 or 6 drivers.
Yeah, well, these guys must be chasing something. With the times being down from pre-qualifying, I'd be very curious to find out exactly how that comes about for the drivers. Maybe the cars are just a bit slower, or I'd like to know if they're feeling any different sort of handling characteristics with the different weather. That's the only thing it's got to come down to, where you're losing a whole second. But I want to know how that feels and what a driver has to do to compensate for that. Good to see as well, 32 drivers have set a time at the moment. So probably a couple out there that might have just had off tracks, had their laps cancelled, or just trying to find a handle on the setup. It's still 1 second separates the field from first all the way down now to 15th place. And Matty Hill in 16th isn't that far off either. So a very competitive field, as we expected. These guys are not letting us down.
Oh, absolutely. And I tell you what, guys, I noticed pit road's been pretty busy. Guys going in, making adjustments after their first attempts, trying to get things fixed up, probably trying to match up this weather. It does have a huge impact, as we mentioned earlier. And so a lot of adjustments going on down on pit road.
Now, of course, that's going to be a new game for these guys. Everyone would have been used to in the past, just putting your qualifying setup on and just banging it out as quick as you can until you nail that perfect lap. But the goalposts are going to... they're moving. It's a moving target you've got to hit out there. So your setup isn't necessarily just a case of putting on that one setup and nailing the best lap, because you're going to have to nail the best lap based upon the conditions.
Yeah, I think we've certainly got the easy job up here in the commentary box, guys. I wouldn't like to be in those drivers' shoes doing what they're doing.
How about being a crew chief? Can you imagine what it's like in those team channels? You know, you've got a drivers, second off the pace. Hey, I need more speed. It's not steering. It's like, that'd be a nightmare of a job.
And guys, I just got Richard Hampstead. He just laid down a 32.4, pulled over and escaped back to the pits, and I don't think you're allowed to do that. Is that what we're just talking about?
Absolutely, it is. Richard Hampstead, of course, coming off of a win in the official online series. Now, actually, no, that maybe not be the case. Brooksy, I think he's having internet dramas.
Yeah, he's
No,
having
corrections there. He's still running. He just had a bit of an internet drama and dropped from the server for a bit, it looked like. But I've still got him out on track on a cool down lap. So no dramas there for Hampstead as he lets another competitor by at the hairpin. So I think that he's up to it. I think all the drivers are on their best behaviour because they know that the stewards are watching.
But a good call, though, because I thought the same thing at first, and then I looked, and it happened to blink back and forth a few times, and yeah, he's having some internet dramas at the moment, but hopefully that gets better for Hampstead. He's a very talented driver right now in 6th place in qualifying times with a time of 1:32.45, so he doesn't want to mess that up, and you got to hate internet dramas because as talented as these guys are, for it to come down to something like that, it is so unfortunate. We've seen it time and time again, boys. I know y'all have too. But got to wish these guys the best with internet.
I guess we should also mention as part of that, I'm seeing a lot of really good sportsmanship from the guys out there. There are a lot of drivers that are just pulling over and basically stopping to let other guys through critical parts of the track, even though it could, in effect hurt them by losing time in your run back to pits. But it's great to see that people aren't holding other drivers up. Of course, if you do that, you also do run the risk of getting a penalty. So we're seeing a lot of good sportsmanship, a lot of good behaviour, and very tight times as a result, because Jarrett Filsell has jumped up to 2nd with a 32.1.
Yeah, Jared Filsell in that 2nd position there. And we've yet to see anyone break into that 131 slot, so Madison Downs still only 2 thousandths away. He's currently in pit road right now, so I assume that Madison Downs and his team are making adjustments to that, to his car. Now you see him leaving pit box. Right now he's on his way back out on track for a warm-up lap, but you got to think he's trying to make a small adjustment there so he can just knock a few more tenths. And he might even just take a couple hundreds at this point. That's a stellar time, and it seems to be holding up at the moment, boys.
Still impressed by just the tightness of this field as we run through. It's 32.0, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 6, 7, 7, 7, 7. I could just go on. There's nothing
crazy
separating these guys, and that's all the way through. We've now got 37 drivers who have managed to set a time. And we're only just past halfway. This is great.
Yeah, great session here. And this is a new excitement. I really want to find out from the drivers' perspectives what they have to be enjoying this qualifying session. It's so much more of a realistic qualifying. They have to enjoy it. The fact of the realistic weather, having to make adjustments on the fly. These are things that real race car drivers encounter on a weekly basis in qualifying. It makes it very exciting. It makes it very challenging as well. And as far as, especially the guys that do have help from a crew chief or have help from an engineer of sorts, anybody that's helping them in the race control or their team control, that's a huge help and beneficial to the big drivers. And so you got to give it up for the smaller drivers that may not have that help, that still make the adjustments needed to get the job done.
Now, of course, other things that real world drivers do have to contend with is keeping the stewards happy. And I understand that Reese has got a bit of a report from the stewards. So what do you got for us, Reese?
Yeah, guys, I've received a message from the stewards concerning a penalty for fast tow, using the fast tow that's been applied to Dale Niche, and as a penalty he's been removed from the rest of qualifying.
Wow. So that's the escape that we're talking about. I gotta say, I don't see Dale Niche having set a time through qualifying, Reese. So we guess that means he's going to be starting from the back. Is that right?
I suppose so. I mean, given the information that we have, I guess that's all we can assume, which is a shame for Dale, but of course that is the penalty that needs to be applied in that situation.
Well, there you go, boys. I'm pretty sure that Dale won't be doing that in the future. You only need to be told once, you'd hope. So anyway, on with it, and hopefully no one else having a chat to the headmaster.
Yeah, they were very clear on the rules for this session, so there was no excuse from any of the drivers. They all know about it.
Of course, that is the no escape rule that we are referring to. So somewhere along the line, something's happened and had to get a tow. Of course, if your car needs a tow back to the pits, it's not ready for qualifying. Simple as that.
All right, boys, I just have some news to report. We talked about a few moments ago about how that 131 mark was not hit yet. That has changed. 3 drivers have found that mark. It starts with third place time right now. That's Jared Philsell with a time of 131.97. You go up to second time of Sean Kelly of the 131.949.
Hey, sorry, JD. Sorry, mate. Sorry to cut you, but you caught the practice results.
Practice results. Dadgummit. Leave it to JD. I'm telling you what, man. I had the wrong results pulled up. I was excited. I was so excited right now.
Well, hey, it is exciting, mate.
They'll hit it. Excuse me. I got ahead of myself. Good job there, boys.
No dramas at all. We're coming to the final 10 minutes here. And of course, that is the question that everyone wants answered. Can anyone break into the 31s? Is anyone going to beat the time set by Madison Down? Or is it going to be Madison Down himself who's going to make that leap into the 31-second bracket?
Well, I tell you what, boys, for my sake, I hope at least 3 do, and I hope it's Jared Philsell, Sean Kelly, and Madison Down, and matching their practice times. I'm telling you, it's tough out there, and I tell you, it's going to be hard. I thought I'd see some guys break down into that 131 mark. I thought we'd see at least 1 or 2 by now, but it's looking a lot harder than what we were seeing, and I think we can attest to that no escape qualifying. These guys normally, like you said, they get to just hit that button and boom, they're back in their pit box. And that's not the case today, and that does make a big difference. You think it really gets in the drivers' heads as they're on their hot lap?
I reckon it would. You know, it's when you're on that hot lap, when you're fighting as hard as these guys are, I guess a lot of it would just be muscle memory, instinct, those sort of things. And if you're used to just punching out perfect lap, or aiming for that perfect lap, to have to deal with this, a completely different ball game, is going to be a real challenge. It's going to be a real test, and they need to make sure they're on it. You know, not just in terms of driving, but mentally.
We're going to go on board with Sean Kelly to watch him, and I love our onboard views. Thanks, Kane Craft there. Always doing a good job there on our work there from our visuals. He does a beautiful job. As we're on board, guys, y'all want to do a little commentary of the onboard lap?
Absolutely. You see Kelly coming down into one of the key passing opportunities. This is the hairpin as they come down that back straight after the chicane. And this
sorry
guys,
guys,
heading
if
through
I can
here.
butt in
Brooksy,
there, Leo. I've
go
got Richard Elwood on his roof, so he cannot get back to pit lane, so he'll be excluded from qualifying as well.
Oh, big news.
Now, where's Richard on the timesheets? He'll keep a time, won't he? He won't be in trouble there. He just won't be able to proceed any further. 33rd place for Richard Elwood, and he's put it in a big way. I can't really tell where that is because I've only got him.
He's just at the end of the S's, I believe it is.
Richard Elwood going to be the first victim, unfortunately. We knew everyone wanted to be one of the first for all the different sort of things, but that wasn't it.
Boy, that was, yeah, I mean, you don't think about that. What happens if you land on your roof? I mean, you you can't really get out and try to flip it over. It's over for you. So, tough break right there.
That is right. But I tell you, I was liking that onboard shot. Do you think we should try and find another bit of a run to take us for a full lap of this wonderful circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's try to find a guy on their hot lap. I'd say Madison Down's on a hot lap right now. I'm pretty sure he is. But if y'all want to go on board with Madison here. Yeah, he just finished his lap, so let's go find another one. Oh, wipeout for Rins Brokman. Everything seems to be okay, but a spin out there on his hot lap. Tough break for Rins. He's currently in 5th.
You'll be fine with a spin, but what you don't want to do is to put it in the fence because then your day is done.
Yeah, he's going to regroup and take that thing, probably get some new tires on it.
So now we have 6.5 minutes remaining in the session. With what we were talking about without laps and that, probably only going to be one, maybe a second flying lap for the drivers out there. And it's still Madison down with a 32.001. Phil second, Kelly third, Ellis fourth, and Brookman fifth. And going through the field, the times are ridiculously tight because from 32, guys, there's 23 drivers within a second of each other. That is incredible.
And at a track like Circuit of the Americas, it's unbelievable. All right, let's check out Richard Hampstead. We're going to get a good onboard view from Richard Hampstead's. And so I'll let you take it away, buddy.
That was, of course, the signature turn one of this circuit. We're heading down through the S's. Hampstead's been all over these curves already through this lap. Going to be a bit of traffic up there. Belts the left-hand curve and the right-hand. It's a constant left and right through this section, and now we get to this tight little chicane that makes up the west circuit of this track, just straight over the top of it. And we rejoin the main circuit, this critical hairpin, down through the gears. Taking a nice bit of curb there is Hampstead. Of course, he's looking to beat a 32.445, which is his best to this point. And from what I saw in that development series race, this section of track through here is just intense for all these competitors. They're going to be side by side, all over each other. You see how slow and technical it is. To run up through the gears now, heading to this long sweeping right-hander. Is about 4 apexes through there.
I'm getting Richard Hampstead's got to go to pit lane or he's going to be disqualified from the server, guys.
I just had him drop from my view there. I'm back on him, and he's coming back now down through the last turn to complete a lap. But yeah, see it there. It is Richard Hampstead disqualified from the server.
Maybe Reese Gardner might be able to get some information on that for us.
Yeah,
absolutely. That is a big thing, because Hampstead was in position 9. He's the reigning champion of the official online series. And to see a big name like that disqualified from the session, I would expect that to mean, is he going to lose his fast lap? That's going to be a big one. We really need to find that one out for sure. There's 4 minutes left, guys.
Yeah, big story developing right there. We'll keep you guys posted as we find out.
They said they'd be watching. They said that there would be administrators keeping an eye on everyone. They laid out the rules clear and simple for everybody. And it has caught a couple of boys out.
Yeah, of course, Dale Niche, the first victim. Richard Elwood, been on his roof, had to escape, so he was second victim, and now Richard Hampstead. So 3 guys excluded from qualifying so far.
Hearing as well that Matty Hill might have had to escape from the server. Blew an engine. So Matthew Hill, I haven't found him. Yeah, there he is, 24th. So Matty Hill blew an engine, and that would have put him out of qualifying too. So that's another example of what you need to keep an eye on.
Man, so much going on at one time, guys. And qualifying is winding down in a hurry. I'm getting pumped up here. It looks like Madison Downs' pole may be safe. There's a couple of guys I think that may get it right now. Jared Phil's still flying, but he's got traffic in front of him. May hurt him.
Someone else is blowing an engine. Who's that? I can't quite catch it, but there's a car pulled off to the side of the road.
Yeah, I saw the smoke.
Michael Schreier, I believe it is. It's Schreier. So, no. Oh, there's been a big crash. 2 cars in trouble. Nigel Baines and Michael Schreier.
Oh.
They must have had it coming together because they're both in a big drama. Blowing engines, 1 car crabbing, so that's not what we want to see here. I'm guessing there's a bit of contact down at the hairpin, perhaps. I've got no idea. Have to follow that one up for you guys, but 2 minutes remaining in the session.
Yeah, I don't know if Nigel Baines will have enough time to get that injured car back to pits and get another lap in. Same with Michael Schreier.
Oh, guys, I found the replay. I see what happens. Oh, that's just one of those sad incidents. Michael Schreier had spun off. It looks like he was on the inside of a blind corner. He was waiting for a gap in traffic, thought he had it, tried to flick spin it, and went straight into the path of Nigel Baines. That's a heartbreaking situation for those two drivers, 18th and 19th in the field. We come down to the last minute and a half. So if you're not on a flyer, you better get on one now, otherwise you're going to run out of time.
Man, I just watched that replay of Nigel Baines as well. It's such an unfortunate event.
Scary, scary stuff, yeah.
Happen to anybody. I mean, you're just driving along and a blind spot, the car comes around the corner, nowhere to go.
Just
And
looking,
we're
guys,
getting
Jared.
down
Sorry, I was going to say
Butcher.
Jared Philsell has just left the pit lane. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get around to start a flying lap.
No,
Yeah.
if you're not out of the pits now, you're not going to make it, because that's if we look at a minute 30, minute 32 as being a lap time around this place. 48 seconds left in the session, you're not going to make it. Someone who will though, Madison Down, is going to have enough time to come around for one last flying lap.
Yeah, we got to
He's
watch
got
him.
Tobias Cerny behind him there, so these two guys are going to be racing very hard. Both very skilled competitors, both with, well, plenty of wins for Madison Down, podiums as well for Tobias Cerny. He got a podium at Montreal a couple of seasons back with us in our broadcast races. And with 20 seconds to go, this is the final chance.
All right, guys, it starts now, and let's see what happens here with Madison Down on this final lap. Let's see Sean Kelly, he's getting through here. He's about to finish his flying lap.
Final turn for Sean Kelly. Currently sits in third on a 32.28. Bit of a slide from that final turn. Is it going to be enough as it hurt him? He crosses the line, and I think he must have had an off track at that final turn because it hasn't counted. But the checkered flag is out. So drivers will be completing the session, completing the laps that they're on, and this is going to set the grid.
And
Boy,
I think
Matt.
Philsell did make it around to start a lap, guys, so he'll be one to watch to see if he can pit Madison in this final stages.
Yeah, Philsell might be the final car to
Nice.
cross the start-finish line. Him may in this qualifying.
No, lap's over. He took a massive off track there through the S's,
wow.
and there'll be a lap over for Philsell.
Oh,
There's a mad scramble for everyone to complete a time if they're on it. There's a couple of cars that are still out there, so it'll be very interesting to see if this order changes any as we go along. A very dynamic grid as we've gone through here. Got my eye on Madison Down, who rounds the second last turn. Coming to the last turn now.
yeah, his
Still a
laps
couple of
look
guys out
really.
there.
This laps look really good for Madison. I don't know if it's going to beat his previous time. We're about.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Hey.
131.938. Beautiful time there. And we did see one car hit 131 right on the final buzzer. That's what you call a buzzer beater right there.
That is a statement from Madison Down.
You like that lap, boys?
That was great. You always see the cream rise to the top in these sort of sessions, and that's just proved it there, JD.
Man, that's awesome stuff right there from Madison Down. A name you would expect to be sitting on this first pole here. And let's check out Mitchell McLeod, boys. Looks like he's coming around the final here in that Torque Ford Falcon. That's a cool looking livery. Oh, is he having internet dramas? Nope, they're
No, that's
gridding.
gridding.
That's it.
We are getting ready, boys, so we might as well run through the grid here at Circuit of the Americas, the first round of the V8's Online Premier Series. We got Madison Down on the pole with a 31.938. Jared Philsell second, very strong front row. Kelly, Ortridge, and Lee Ellis in fifth. Renz Brookman sixth. Wayne Burke in seventh. Jake Burton, Richard Hampstead, and Damien Butler rounding out the top 10. Although there's a question mark over Richard Hampstead.
Yeah,
Of course, that disqualification.
yeah, 11th looks like what I have. Mitchell McLeod, Bo Cubis, 12th, 13th, Curtis Chipaway, Leighton Fine, 14th, 15th, Dean O'Brien, Blake Capo, 16th, 17th, Michael Fulcher, 18th, Tobias Zerny, Michael Schreier, 19th, and in that final 20, top 20, it is Nigel Baines.
Yeah, and in 21st is Chad Chastain, Corey Pressing out of 22. Kurt Stenberg got 23. 24th went to Matthew Hill. Matt Yerman's 25th. Marlon McMullen, 26th. Brad Smith down in 27th. John Latham had 28th. Todd Parks, 29th. And Dylan Shepard got the 30th spot.
Rounding out the field, Stephen Sandman Clark, 31st in car 31. Ian Ford, 32nd. Bobby Jovanovic, Richard Aylwood, Robert Hooper, Philip Johansson, Hayden Dodman, and Christopher Dickinson rounding out the field. We also had Dal Nish, who had dramas. He was excluded from that session there, but I think he may still be in the race starting from the back of the field. We'll see how that pans out, but we're going to have 40 Angry V8 Supercars taking to Circuit of Americas for the first round of the new official Premiere Series. Can't wait for this one.
As the cars get ready to see the lights, what's it going to be like down in turn 1? You're not going to want to miss this.
Oh, it's going to be a mad scramble. 3 wide, 4 wide. Any takers for 5 wide into turn 1? Because it's a wide track here.
Yeah, I'll take 5 wide. I guarantee you it's going to be crucial.
And here we go. The lights are up. This is it.
Engines rev. Let's get started, boys, here at Circuit of the Americas in the Premier Series.
Jared Filsell with a blinder of a start. He's going to clear Madison down into turn 1. He's got it. Fanning out 4 wide. There's your 4 wide. There's your 5 wide back
there
in the
pack.
Love it.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, there's
through
contact
turn
back
1,
in
we
the
got an
field.
SDC car turned around. It's going to stop through traffic. Big trouble there. I'm trying to find out who the driver was, but not what they wanted to have happen here.
There was a bit of 3 wide contact, looked like at the apex of turn 1, and a bit of trouble. Cars around, but there's a huge train led by Jared Filsell heading down through the chicane and through to this technical part of the circuit. Filsell from Down and Kelly.
Talk about congested right now. We have all kinds of traffic. Wayne Bork right now, Rens Broekman right now really close. And then it looks like, and Richard Hampstead got really loose there. And he's stuck between 2 cars right now. And that was a very close call for Richard Hampstead. He's now going to try to make a pass. And here he is, a beautiful job. He's trying to make that outside work, guys. Don't know if it's going to happen for him. He's trying to get around Rens.
Get the over-under. That again is going to put him on the wrong side of the racetrack.
Yeah,
this
down
is where
right
we saw all the action here. Oh, look at Madison down up the front. We saw all the action through this section in the Development Series race. But
as Hampstead gets up the inside of Brookman into the last corner, and he's got that move done.
He has, and so the first 5 have got a bit of a breakaway with that happening. So Filsell, Down, Kelly, Ortridge, and Lee Ellis. That's the top 5. Richard Hampstead, 6th. He started in position 9.
Yeah, I'd like to just clarify, he was able to start from position 9 because that was a lap he put down before he got that disqualification.
There we go, that's a fair ruling there. We're going to continue on back down through the S's. This track doesn't give you any room to stop and breathe, does it? It's just an intense blast.
Yeah, 40 laps in this too, boys. This is going to be a tough one for these drivers, but I am really impressed with Jared Filsell's start to this race. He's out in front right now, leads the field. He has a train of about 4 cars right on his tail, though, and Madison down so close to him right now. He's in danger of losing that lead.
Well, you see the first 5 with a breakaway, but then you've got from 6th, Richard Hampstead. Where do you put that down? All the way down to what? There's a big crash at the back. Missed that. That's a couple of cars around at that hairpin.
As that's going on, it's going to be it's not going to be a pass from Madison down. He got completely door to door. Go back to the crash. Sorry.
No, there's too much action at the front to look that up. I think that if there's anything we did miss, no doubt the stewards will be paying attention to it. But you're right, Madison
and
down.
It's a bump. It's going to be a spin around. Madison down gets into the rear of Jared Filsell, and somehow Filsell saves it.
Wow, what a slide.
I have no idea how Filsell will hang on to that. He's going to be sitting duck at turn 1, though. Madison down's got a run. But look at Sean Kelly. He's in the box seat. Kelly's going to try and take 2nd from Madison down. He's going to try and take the lead.
Oh, he's got it. Oh, he couldn't get going, boys. He had it, but he couldn't get the car going. It kind of got hung up there for a second. And now side by side, there could be some contact between 2nd and 3rd place cars. Madison
Kelly
down now reclaimed 2nd place.
Kelly nearly got escorted wide. Orchard and Ellis are there to pick up the scraps, and this has brought 6th on back right on up to me because Jared Filsell got a big moment out of the final corner, courtesy of contact from Madison down. They all held their positions, everyone maintained where they were running, and we're continuing on with this great racing.
Boy, Sean Kelly's still not giving up on Madison down, boys. He's trying to get in a good position, and if he can get it, he's not letting up. fill cell now, starting to get a little bit of company from Madison down. So this battle for the lead is on, boys. It is not, they are not waiting around.
So we've got Richard Hampstead trying to go around the outside of Lee Ellis back there in 6th and 5th position.
That doesn't mind that outside move. This section of track, I guess this whole circuit really makes the drivers think, because an opportunity at one corner might put you in a bad spot at the next. At Hampstead side by side, trying to go around the outside again. He might try and set up a crossover, but can't get it done.
I got to say, guys, looking at those front two, Madison Down looks really strong for that second half of the lap.
Yeah, he really is.
That is a really technical piece of road. It doesn't seem to let up anything from the chicane all the way back through to the final turns. But those front two, they do look like they're pulling a slight bit of a gap, but of course as they fight, they bring the rest of the field back to him, and Hampstead is still looking very, very racy on the back of Lee Ellis. Should also mention just some reports from the stewards. Kurt Stenberg and Robert Hooper have both been handed out black flag penalties. Not sure what they're for. If we find out, we will let you know.
I'm sure good buddy Reese will get the word for us. Well, guys, we're 3.5 laps in now, and really, it's just been an unbelievable race so far. But these guys have to remember, this is a 40-lap race. You cannot get out of it before it gets going good. You have to kind of be patient. And
Hampstead. Sorry, Hampstead's got the position on Ellis, and you've got Rennes Brookman trying to capitalise. That was a forceful move by Richard Hampstead.
Right now, Dean O'Brien trying to get around Jake Burton, and he's going to, Jake Burton shuts it down. Good defensive driving there from Jake Burton in the 3.5 car. Now Lee Ellis trying to make his way around Richard Hampstead. It's getting real intense here between these two, as there was a slight, almost a bump there. He got on the brakes just in time, but I just think he wanted to let him know, hey, I'm here, boys. I'm coming.
Well, he certainly knew Hampstead was there when Hampstead was coming around, because they ran side by side for a number of corners. But with 4 laps complete, the order is Phil Sell down, Kelly, Orchard and Hampstead the top 5, Ellis, Brookman, Burke, McLeod and Burton the top 10. But we're seeing very intense racing throughout the field. Doesn't seem to be anyone really making a gap, because you've got 39 cars out there and not much real estate.
Yeah, this battle between Hampstead, Ellis and Brookman, it is going off, guys. Ellis is not letting Hampstead get away, and Brookman's looking to capitalise on the pair of them.
Yeah, you see Brookman there having a bit of a dive and a bit of contact with Ellis. Brookman, of course, running with ANZ Motorsports. His teammate Justin Ruggier is a very successful and popular driver here in the iRacing series, but of course this year has made the step up to the real world, the Kumo V8 Tyres series, and these boys are actually running a livery based on the real car that Justin Ruggier is driving in that series, and he's been doing great out there this season.
Yeah, of course he's away driving this weekend up at Ipswich in Queensland Raceway, so he's not here tonight with us, but Brookman's holding the flag for the team. I actually painted that car, guys. Brookman was very keen to run it to help out Justin.
Hey, check out Chad Chastain back there. In the middle of a huge pack of cars. There's a lot of action happening.
Guys, I just keep going through the back of this field, and it's racing all over this track. I mean, it's not just at the front. I mean, right now, you got a great battle going on between Bobby Jovanovic, Dylan Shepard back there, side-by-side racing right now. Beautiful job. Now, I mean, it's just everywhere you go. Dylan Shepard side-by-side with Bobby Jovanovic now, and this is a battle back here for 28th position, and they're still battling like they're battling for the lead. Unbelievable racing around this track.
And we've got Nigel Baines all over the back of Christopher Dickinson, who's just been served a black flag, and I'm not sure what for.
Oh no.
Nigel Baines, sorry, has made that position on Christopher Dickinson.
Hey guys, just hearing that we've got a bit of news about Sean Kelly, Reese at the pits. What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey guys, with me being back, of course, my good friend TTR Spy Guy, the insider for TTR, is providing me with information. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, because he did say that if he didn't have anything to give me, he would make stuff up, but he has told me that Sean Kelly has accidentally loaded in the wrong gear ratios for this race. So, quite a story there.
And he's in third, guys.
Yeah, he's doing mid-33s with the wrong gear ratio. He's doing quite well then.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it doesn't seem to be hurting him because his lap times are actually exactly the same as what the front two are running.
Well,
He's not letting them get away.
Holding up very well.
And of course, Reese, let us know if you find anything about those black flags that have been happening, because it's very interesting to know what stewards are looking for out there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll get on the steward's case and see if I can find anything out.
Oh,
But
his
it's,
Ren's Bookman is serving a slowdown penalty by the looks. He's just pulled right out of it there, and he's let Mitchell McLeod through.
Oh yeah, that chicane is deadly. Of course, we should mention, guys, as well as the penalties from the stewards. There's some sectors of this track where you can gain time by cutting the circuit. That's not on a contact. There's a car off on the infield. It's Brookman. He got a bit of a hit there, and he's dropped a number of positions. That's going to be a costly lap for Ren's.
Yeah, he's dropped all the way back down to 13th. He was sitting in 6th position, I believe. He's sitting in there behind Curtis Chipaway now.
Couple of internationals there in the series, Brookman and Chipaway. It's great to see that this has attracted a lot of attention from around the world, not just within Club Australia and New Zealand.
Let's go look at Marlon McMullen and Sandman. Stephen Sandman Clark side by side right now. Sandman down on the inside could have the advantage on this, and he should make it stick, but oh, wait a minute. Here comes a rebound right now from Marlon McMullen right back on the tail of Sandman. And this is a good battle. This is a battle for the top 20. Or 21st, I'm sorry, 21st. And here we go down on the inside as they go into turn one. It's going to be close. It's going to be a really good job by Sandman. Use that outside to his advantage, kept the speed up, and that will stick.
Yeah, that inside line costs you a lot of speed.
He's mid-corner speed there.
Say, Brooksy. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. No, I was saying the mid-corner speed that Sandman was able to carry through there, phenomenal over Marlon.
Yeah, that was very impressive. And right behind them is, of course, Nigel Baines. So this could potentially be a great three-car battle back here in the middle of this field.
Now, the other thing that we'll be having to keep an eye on as we are working lap 8 out of 40 is the pit strategy out there. We're not 100% sure of how it will play out, this being our first round of the new format, but we are expecting a pit stop tonight. As Reese mentioned, they're going to need to take fuel. Seems like tyres might be optional. Very eager to see what the pit window turns out to be, when people start to come in, and what sort of strategy they apply throughout this race.
And up the front there, we've got Jared Philstill still leading as he crosses for lap 9. Madison Down right behind him. Madison Down might be just buying his time here, I feel, guys.
He's not letting them get away. And the top 4 are all still pretty tight. 2.5 seconds from first through fourth. That's Kelly and Aldridge that are making that up. And then Richard Hampstead is still locked in that big fight with Lee Ellis. You're right though, Madison Down, he looks like he's making a lot of time up through this section of the track where they are at right now. Through these really slow corners, he's all over the back of Jared Philstill. He makes it all up throughout the front section.
Yeah, he's such a tactical driver, and this is a tactical part of the track. He does so well through here. A lot of drivers struggle through this second half of the track, and Madison does very well.
Been watching it each time they come around the final turn. They're pretty well nose to tail. Seems like Philstill stretches the gap a little bit from turn 1 through to the chicane. Right through there, there's barely a bumper between them.
Yeah, all the all the TTR cars, they look like they've got really good mid-corner speed in that slower stuff. So obviously that back end of the track helps a lot.
Oh, let's go look at Marlon McMullen again, as he seems to be doing it again. And he's right there with Steven Sandman Clark. Good battle going on also. SDC Motorsports driver Nigel Baines in the mix as well. And as they go through side by side, it's going to go back to Steven Sandman Clark. Sandman takes the, oh, wait a minute, here comes Marlon. Marlon's going into these turns really hot. But the thing is Sandman's got better exit speed. So that's what we keep seeing. We keep seeing Marlon get close and getting up to Sandman, but Sandman going in slower with a faster exit. And here goes him going into turn 1. It's going to be Sandman again. He has great speed through turn 1.
Nigel Baines, as you mentioned, is there looking to capitalise. Philip Johansson closing in too. This is quickly going to turn into a 4-car fight, and I like seeing the different way that these drivers are handling it. Sandman doing a great job to keep a cool head, but Marlon McMullen looking incredibly racy, and he looks like he'll try anything to make the position stick.
Yeah, and if you look, you mentioned a 4-car, but right behind them is Philip Johansson, and he's coming on pretty strong as well.
Yeah, Johansson's having a great race. He started 36 on the grid and up to 24, so he's doing really well.
Another one of our internationals. There's a couple of them scattered throughout the field. Great to have them on board. And there's a car turning the wrong way. You can't really catch who that is at the moment, but someone's going to drop a couple of spots in the hairpin.
You don't want to be facing the wrong way here.
And another lap complete, and the story remains the same.
Tell you what, Jake Burton's got his hands full. Dean O'Brien, I've seen Dean in the past couple laps, and he keeps the pressure on hot on Jake Burton up here. It's a battle for 9th place, and these two still going at it. And I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dean take Jake here shortly.
Yeah, he's just been a tenth or two quicker the last few laps there. His setup's really come on to him there, Dean O'Brien.
Boy, I just can't get over, guys. Here we are, lap 11 of 40, and I just can't get over this first and second place battle between Jared Filsell and Madison Down. It has been phenomenal. They have not split over a car length between the two since this race has started. They have just stayed right there on one another, bumper to bumper this entire race. It's been very fun to watch.
Now, it looks like Tony Autridge is falling back into the clutches of Richard Hampstead, though. When we talk about battles up the front, it's Sean Kelly who's got the easy ride at the moment in a bit of no man's land. He's focused on these front two. Gap between Madison Down or Jared Filsell and Sean Kelly seems to be stable at about a second and a half. He's keeping the same pace as those guys, but 4th place, that's going to be a fight pretty quickly, I reckon. Autridge and Hampstead. You got Ellis and McLeod not too far back either.
Guys, it looks like Richard Elward was black flagged by race control there. Not quite sure what for, but yeah,
that came up a little while back, I think, and we'll see if there's any news come through for it. Focusing on the battle back up the front again, Autridge is definitely at risk of losing his very strong 4th position. You got Richard Hampstead who's bearing down on him. We've seen that Hampstead isn't afraid to try and force the issue and make a pass. What Autridge has got to be concerned about is Ellis and McLeod, because if he finds himself left high and dry, he's going to drop all the way from 4th back to 7th.
Well, the thing about Richard Hampstead, he had an unfortunate qualifying incident, but still, he was able to start 9th, and in 12 laps, guys, he's moved all the way up to 5th, and with 4:13's over, he could have 4th.
Guys, just looking ahead of that, though, we were side by side for the lead. Madison Down was on the outside heading into this long right-hander. I'm not sure if that was a genuine passing attempt or if he's just trying to rattle the cage of Jared Filsell a little bit, but they were definitely door-to-door heading into that corner. So Madison Down, I don't think he's biding his time because he is looking pretty racy there.
Yeah, it's fantastic driving by the two guys up here at the front. They're really putting the pressure on each other.
Guys, you got to start thinking. It's lap 13. Guys, got to have to start thinking about fuel strategy or pit strategy in general. and so that could break up this pack before too long up at the front. It's going to be real interesting to see how that plays out with these two at the front.
Jared Philsell is certainly sliding the rear of that car around a little bit more than Madison Down at this stage of the race.
And this is still a great battle between Marlon McMullen and Nigel Baines. Sandman's starting to kind of run away from this pack, but the pack behind him is starting to tighten up. So it's a good battle. As I say that, Marlon McMullen really starts to get a push up towards Sandman again.
just up in front of them, JD, Fulcher, Hill, Zerny and Schreier. They're in a great battle of 4 cars.
Oh, absolutely, and that is a fantastic run right there. Tobias Zerny, one of the Powerbomb boys. He's back there, and he's right in the middle of this 4-car pack. Matthew Hill, all these guys, and they're going to get side by side, door to door here with Matthew Hill and Michael Fulcher. And so Fast Fulch at it again. He gets side by side for a minute, but not enough to make the pass on a very fast Matthew Hill. It's amazing just how great this field is. I mean, you got great battles all the way through this thing. We haven't even touched on some of the cars in the back. But
pitting. Sorry, Hampstead, the first one to blink. Hampstead, the first one into the pits. He looked like he had a fast car, and he wants to be able to use that speed, so he's into the pits early. This is lap 14 that we're working out of 40. So Hampstead making the first move.
Yeah, this is big. This is an early pit stop. Going to be a very important stop. And I'm sure Reese will keep us updated on what happens in and out of these pits. It's very important.
Just on that, before we get into the pit stop action, Reese has been down to the stewards and's got some news regarding the black flags that we've been seeing.
Yes, I definitely have, guys. I've been in contact with the stewards, and they have supplied me with reasons for at least most, if not all, of the black flags that have been supplied throughout this race. Peter Dickinson's black flag was for contact with Corey Preston, and Hooper's black flag was for contact with John Latham, and then he was penalised again for getting his car serviced during the time which he was serving his penalty. And Richard Aylward's black flag was for contact with Dylan Shepherd, and Kurt Stenberg got a black flag for contact into turn 1 on lap 1.
Wow, there you go. Thanks for that, Reese. I sure do appreciate that. We all appreciate those updates.
Well, thank you very much, guys, and I'll be listening in to the guys as we are in the pit window now, so I'm sure there will be some strategy talk.
Sorry, right in there, Reese, but Madison Down, Tony Autry, Sean Kelly, they've all dived to the pit lane.
Yeah, this is
wow,
a big...
things are really heating up now.
Yeah, big pit stop here.
Absolutely. Now, also going to be critical in terms of big-name drivers out there. Renz Brookman has been handed a black flag. I actually caught that at the back of shot. He made contact with Curtis Chipaway and turned Chipaway around at the hairpin, and so Brookman has been handed a penalty for that one. But the race up the front, heating up. Phil Sell is still out on the racetrack. Got the rest of the boys in, Madison Down and company, so they're going to have fresh tyres, and they're going to be coming fast. But I want to see where Richard Hampstead ends up through all of this, because he was the first one to stop. And I've got him coming down the front straight at the moment.
Oh, good pit for Madison. He's out. Good job.
Yeah, but check out Hampstead. He's going to make a lot of ground here.
Yeah, he
Hampstead
certainly
has
jumped Kelly.
a lot of positions. He's jumped Kelly. He was, and now he's going to be setting his sights on Madison Down. So Hampstead has moved up at least a couple of spots there. So he's gone from 5th up to 3rd by the looks of things. Also keen to see how the lap times do pan out. But I tell you, Madison Down, he's caught traffic. Down has come out in a huge pack of cars. So Phil Sell's got a huge advantage here, because he can make a pit stop, because Madison Down is going to be held up. Oh, there's contact.
Oh, there's
Madison Down has had to stop.
Oh, Richard Hampstead going around the outside.
Yeah, that contact was tough right there. That's going to be on the Todd Parks there, who's still not turned back around, and more traffic will get backed up there. That's going to be Robert Hooper as Todd Parks.
This is critical, guys, because Jared Philsell is in the pits. Philsell in from the lead. He had Madison Down all over him during that final stint. Down made a pit stop early, came out on fresh tyres, and has been held up, so the battle for the lead is going to be hot as they reach pit exit. other drivers in Leighton Fine, Chad Chastain, Curtis Chipaway. Looks like we've had about half the field in so far.
Nigel Baines, huge contact with the pit wall on the entry.
Oh, tough break there.
Now just watching it, Phil Sell is at pit exit. He might not have it. Madison down is side by side into turn 1. Phil Sell cold tyres, but you've got the first 4 cars nose to tails here. Looks like Phil Sell down, Hampstead and Sean Kelly. That's the position as they come out on the pits. Phil Sell holds on to the lead. And the first round of pit stops are complete. Lap 16 out of 40.
Yeah, that traffic really hurt Hampstead and Madison down there on their laps.
Normally you'd expect pitting earlier, you'd have a bit of an advantage on the fresh tyres, but they weren't able to make that happen, and Phil Sell hangs on to the lead of this race. Tyre wear towards the end of it's going to come into play though, I expect, because looking at the lap times, they dropped off about 0.8 of a second over the course of that run.
Yeah, and of course they're only really super good for that first 1 or 2 laps, so Hampstead's probably already used the best of his tyres. We're going to go back and have a look at Mullen. Got reports of him getting some big airtime around the track.
Boy. Well, guys, the current leader, Lee Ellis, out there, and behind him, Jake Burton.
Ellis has got about an 8-second lead, of course, yet to pit. There's a couple of drivers out there. We've got the first 6 cars have not yet pitted. Now, Ellis in a rare moment of clear traffic a bit earlier in the race there. I had a bit of a run through the field, and I tell you, I could not find a single car not have a car within at least 2 seconds of him. So breathing room is pretty hard to come by out there. Ellis going to try to make the most out of this clear track. Try and move up a couple of positions on the boys he was racing.
All right,
into the pits.
Yeah, Bo Cubis headed down into the pits. Well, guys, good race so far. We're almost to the halfway point. Leader is on lap 18, so once we hit that lap 20, we will be officially halfway over in this first race here in the Premier Series. It's been a fantastic race at this point. It's going to continue to be wonderful all the way to the end. I believe we're going to have a heck of a finish, and it is right back where we started with Madison down and Jared Philsell battling for the potential lead once pit stops commence, and that's just phenomenal. Now, Philsell does have a little bit of breathing room for the moment, but it seems like Madison down starting to kind of edge ever closer towards the leader.
Well, whilst that's been happening, they've left Richard Hampstead. Hampstead has dropped big time, so it's returned to a 2-car fight for the lead. These 2 boys being the class of the field. Philsell and down. Hampstead still holding down 3rd position, but he's going to have Sean Kelly all over him and Mitch McLeod closing in too. So Mitch McLeod is looking at being in contention for a top 5 finish, and he started all the way back, I think, in position 11.
Yeah, it's a great drive from Mitchell McLeod. Of course, he had the preliminary pole after pre-qualifying. Not sure if he would have been really happy with his lap in qualifying tonight, but he's certainly driven a good race, kept the car straight, and he's moved up a few spots.
All right, boys, Jake Burton, official leader of the race. It seems to be the last car. Him and Bo Cubis has pit, so the last one to pit will be Jake Burton. He's staying out the longest, and you got to think that later in the race he should be the one with the freshest tires the longest. Problem is he's losing lap speed now. His last lap, 134.63. We look to guys with fresh tires. Let's just look at leader Phil Cell, a 133.3. That's a big difference in time. That's over 2.5 seconds almost. So Burton needs to get in there and get himself some fresh tires here.
Now Madison Down is looking very racy for second position. These guys are fighting for the effective lead of the race. And Reese, what have you got for us regarding news about Madison Down?
I have got some news from TTR Spy Guy concerning Madison Down. Apparently, he has made contact with one of the yellow anti-cut stones in the S's, and he's got steering damage from that. So Madison Down is nursing a damaged car.
Yeah, they can be quite savage to the suspension of the car, just like hitting a gutter.
Yeah, that's something we didn't bring up, boys, that in the pre-race show that about this track. Those yellow cornerstones are huge. I mean, they're not flat by any means. They actually come to a point, and if you hit it just wrong, it can cause severe damage to especially to your hand.
So the fact that Madison Down is keeping up with Jared Philsell in the way that he is quite impressive. But I have got one more little bit of information, another piece of news from the stewards. We've got a post-race investigation for an incident between Tobias Cerny and Michael Fulcher. Tobias apparently took out Fulcher and attempted to redress, but Fulcher had too much damage and had to retire, and been told that will likely be a points penalty after the race.
I've got Hampstead. He's just served himself a slowdown penalty on the main straight, so he's lost another spot to Sean Kelly.
Yeah, Hampstead's second stint here hasn't been the hottest. He was looking like the winner out of everyone out there with the big moves that he made with the early pit stop, but yeah, just hasn't worked out for him through this second run like I expected it to.
Jake Burton currently leads the race, yet to pit by 19 seconds over Jared Phil, so is still managing to hold off Madison Down, who'd be in second position on corrected order, as Jake Burton heads for pit lane now.
Yeah, here he goes.
Be interesting to see where Jake come out, because he's going to be able to fight back at a few guys with fresher tyres towards the end of this race.
And there go your leaders.
We've got a fantastic battle between Wayne Burke and Bo Cubis. They're battling for a top 10 position.
All right, guys, Jake Burton comes back on track and immediately goes side by side in action with Wayne Bork, and he's going to have to tuck in behind Wayne. Good job there by Wayne Bork to jump out back in front of Jake Burton. So Jake Burton will come in at 12th.
Oh, Kurt Stenberg. He's had a massive off just behind those guys that we were looking at. Managed to hold it. You look at Jake Burton, he has a look down the inside of Wayne Burke. Going to get that job done. Moves across and covers, and that's a position for Jake Burton.
Yeah, Jake Burton going to put himself back up here trying to get right up in this top 10. And I tell you what, guys, remember, he'll have fresher tires at the end of the race as he was the last car to pit. And so that could be big for him as he tries to crawl his way up through the top 10. Well, guys, here we are, lap 22, a little bit over halfway in this race. Jared Filsil, it has been a day for him so far. He started on the outside pole, jumped out to a lead. He's been fighting with Madison down all afternoon. And gentlemen, he still is here on lap 22. And Madison down, as we heard from Reese just a moment ago, is battling with some handling issues after hitting one of the cornering stones here at Circuit of the Americas. It's kind of a staple here at this new track. And I tell you what, I am very impressed with what Madison Down has been able to accomplish with those handling issues. He is still able to hang with leader Jared Filsil. It's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, those two are definitely the class of the field at the moment. Looking at the times from first and second compared to third, they're running away from Sean Kelly. The gap's now 4.2 seconds between Kelly and Filsil. Looks like Madison Down is the only man out there with the pace to hang with that 027 car. Been a lot of big movers in the field, a lot of action happening. On screen, Matthew Hill, who's the big mover, 11 positions up from his starting spot.
And Ian Ford has 13. He's in 19th at the moment, and Ian Ford started this race today, boys, back in 32nd. So that's a big move right there for Ian Ford. Big day for him.
Yeah, with Sandman Clark, he's up 11 spots too, up into 20th spots, so he's had a great race.
The guys that aren't having the best of runs, Nigel Baines is down 10, but Blake Coppo, Renz Brooken and Michael Fulcher were all running very strong, but have dropped out due to dramas for one reason or another.
Yeah, Philip Johansson up in 21st, gained 15 positions, boys, in the 555 machine. Give it up there. Nice job, Philip Johansson. You mentioned one of the internationals, and a fantastic performance here at the week one here at Circuit of the Americas. And he continues. He has open road ahead of him. Next up in front of him, Steven Sandman Clark.
Those guys are all racing really well, you know. One of the things with this series that we've taken as being a big important part of it is giving people the opportunity not just to race the V8 Supercar, but to race it competitively against some of the best guys. And we're seeing names.
We got a stop car on track. It's Robert Hooper, and his day may be over. Looks like a blown engine.
Yeah, he blew his engine heading into turn 1 and just had to roll it down through the S's on the previous lap.
Tough break there for Robert Hooper, and that will end his race. All right, let's look at 9th position, guys. Jake Burton trying to race up here with Bo Kibis, and he's going to try to make the inside work through turn 1. And remember, we saw Sandman use that outside and get better speed, and that's exactly what's going to happen with Jake Burton. He used that inside and didn't get the speed he needed. Bo Kibis made that outside work, so it seems to be the outside is the lane to use heading through turn 1.
Yeah, Jake Burton's car looks very pointy at the moment. Of course, he's got the fresher tyres of anyone in this group. Car looks to be very planted and got a lot of drive off the corners.
So I've got to say, Burton's done a great job in terms of getting on board the V8 Supercar and getting up to speed quickly, because it was only a couple of seasons ago that he was a fresh rookie finding his feet. Now he's fighting for a top 10 spot in the Premier Series.
Yeah, that's big stuff. Great job there from Jake Burton. And watching him go here, he's going to go side by side. He got into contact. He got in contact with Bo Kibis. Bo able to save the car, kept the back end from swinging out, and will hold the position.
Something that I think that's another great example of is that with these 5 stewards, seeing a lot of good racecraft with the guys, a lot of good sportsmanship, and we've seen a couple of positions get redressed where there's been contact rather than pouncing on it. They've just let the position settle, and Burton's going to take the position here at the final turn and take it clean.
Oh, we got a car coming with it. It's going to be Wayne Bork as well. And I'll tell you what, Wayne Bork side by side to the line, and who will edge it out?
We'll see if Cubis can hold on around the outside like a couple of others have. It's
a bump going into turn 1.
Burton is holding these guys up, it seems. He got the run out of the final turn, but now we'll see if he can pull away on those fresher tyres. But Burton, Cubis and Burke is how that battle resolves, but it's certainly not over.
There's some fantastic driving through those few corners there.
Yeah, Wade Borg really impressed me through there. He was the third car in action, but he almost made a double pass at one point. Just couldn't find the grip needed. The slip on the tires was just too much, and he had to back off. But I like what he did. He's backed off a little bit. Now he can fight the drivers one-on-one. He's going to go to the inside right now with Bo Cubis, and he'll make that pass. Beautiful job right there by Wayne Bork. Now he can focus on getting up Jake Burton up in ninth. But welcome Wayne Bork to the top 10.
That style of racing that we've been seeing has been consistent, I think, throughout these two races that we've had tonight. We've seen a lot of moves that people have had to really plan ahead and think for. It's not just a simple case of stick the nose in and make it
guys,
stick.
Side by side through turn one, Madison down for the lead, and he just couldn't get it. We almost had contact between the two. That was a huge passing opportunity for Madison down right there. He's going to try again. He's going to get shut down.
Yeah, these S's are a single file run through. There's only one line you can take, but Phil Sell still holds on for the lead. Madison down, getting very racy. He's still monster in the back of that 027 car heading down through this flip-flop chicane. Down to this technical part of the circuit that Madison down has looked so good through. He's going to be looking every which way to try and make a move on that tag Pest Management Falcon. Phil Sell still holds on. There's a bit of traffic up there, just pulls aside. Great sportsmanship. That's what we like to see. And you see the different lines being taken here as they go side by side again through this technical piece of road. Madison down, going to be looking through the crossover. One of the slowest parts of the track, and then go side by side on the exit again. Great piece of driving by these two. Phil Sell got the high ground through the long right hand of it. Madison down's going to keep fighting. He has to tuck back in behind. Too hard to stay around the outside there, but he's going to look for another move through these final two turns. Has he got an overlap? Has he got the position? No. Phil Sell shuts the door.
Boy, big battle up here for the lead right now, and we have seen Madison down really be aggressive here as of late, trying to find room to make this pass. He's done a phenomenal job. Remember the handling issue on that car right now. He is battling an offset handling and still battling for this position. Phil Sell, phenomenal defensive driving.
Yeah, I'm a little bit speechless at the moment, guys. Of course, I'm barracking for Jared Phil Sell. With the likes of Madison down, you can never rest, and he's really applying the blowtorch.
Yeah, we try to be unbiased here, but we can forgive you, Brooksy. Brooksy, of course, is Jared Phil Sell's team boss, so we'll let that one slide. Now, this will be a cool shot. We're going to ride on board with Madison down. We're looking out the front of that Ultimate Karting Sydney Falcon. Oh, and a big, big slide.
Boy, he recovered nicely from that slide.
Absolutely. I'm also eager to see the different lines that are taken through here. Phil Sell's car looking like it's moving around a bit under braking. Madison down looks like he's moving around under acceleration as we see him step the rear out once more.
Boy, he is really fighting that steering wheel, boys.
Feathering the throttle to his long right hand. It feels like it's never going to end. Must be painful as a driver to have to wait that long. And now there's just two more corners left on the circuit. You see how long Phil Sell carries the brake to the apex. Coming to the final turn. Madison down, closing up a lot under brakes. And we're going to tick off another lap complete. But look at that climb to the braking zone of turn one. That's one of the signature parts of this circuit. It's a great overtaking opportunity. Let's see if Madison down has anything. He's a long way back though.
Yeah, 13 laps to go. I don't know if these guys can sustain this kind of pressure. Super racing by the pair of them. And it's not over for the final podium spot either. Richard Hampstead's starting to climb on the back of Sean Kelly.
Absolutely, those guys have been fighting hard for a number of laps there. And just behind you've also got McLeod and Ellis that are fighting. They're there to pick up the scraps should Kelly and Hampstead come together. Looks like Kelly does have the pace, but they did run side by side for a couple of corners a number of laps ago. I've really enjoyed watching the way different cars make their speed in different areas of the track though, boys. Like, Those first section of the S's that just flow really well, you can set your car up well for that. But this final section, which is just real stop-start, you've got to be so line precise. See back there, Mitch McLeod having a look on Lee Ellis. Sorry, on Richard Hampstead. Perfect example of different ways you can tackle this beast of a circuit.
Yeah, certainly. Being a nice wide open Formula 1 design circuit there, you can take a few different lines at different corners. So certainly spices the racing up.
Turn 1 is the perfect example of that because the traditional racing line leaves you wide open to a dive bomb at turn 1. Phil Sell come around to tick off another lap. So when someone tries to make that overtaking move, the reason we've seen that high ground work so well is because fastest way around the track is the racing line, but Phil Sell is running defensive again in turn 1. Madison Downs so good under brakes.
I just wanted to point something out. Jared Philsell's fastest lap was lap 16 of 131.97. Madison Downs' fastest lap was lap 5 at a 131.909. So watching these two, it just is unbelievable, the competition. I can't believe they kept it up this long.
Hey, sorry JD, sorry buddy, again you got the practice times, mate.
Oh
Tick
my
that
gosh, are you
Pick
kidding
that
me?
over to the race. We see Phil Sell's fastest lap was right out of the pits, a 32.7. Madison Down also right out of the pits, so it's exactly as Brooksy said, they're at their best right when they are green, right when they are fresh, and they'll just drop off from there. But if we look at Madison Down's lap times, 32.6 was his best. Just 2 laps ago, he ran a 34.4. That's a bit of a drop off.
Yeah, and the lap before that was the 35.4, so obviously you had something to affect that lap time.
Well, Phil Sell, last lap was in the 34s, so it looks like a good time. If you can pull a 33 out at the moment, you're doing quite well. Phil Sell taking it to the pit wall. He's definitely looking in his mirrors. Madison Down is hustling him and racing him hard. Phil Sell runs defensive once more into turn 1. He's not blocking, he's just cutting off that inside move. The run down through the S's. Phil Sell knows the single file. Madison Down can't make anything happen here. So Phil Sell is going to be a wake up to a move happening through the back half of the circuit. Got turn 1, and then you've got those that second half. That's where any moves will happen.
And of course, these two battling so hard. Fastest guy on track last lap around was Sean Kelly. He's responded to the pressure from Hampstead, and he's actually catching Madison and Phil Sell a little bit.
That's right, 33.9 the last lap for Sean Kelly. Like we said, 33s are where it's at. Look at Madison Down, though. He's thinking about a move. There's going to be an overlap. Phil Sell with the mid-corner speed, though.
He's making that tag pest management Falcon super wide there, Phil Sell. Getting reports of Mullen flipping the car somewhere on the track. He's got a huge amount of damage. He comes around to the last corner.
Yeah, coming around to the last turn, and that car is, he takes it into the pits. That car is a mess.
Yeah, that's a rough looking car.
Marlon's had a big hit somewhere on the track, and fortunately he's been able to make it back to pit lane.
He's got one of those yellow curbs coming down out of the last of the S's, and it's just put the car on the roof and sent him all the way.
We should mention with these live marshals, guys, Madison Down a dive. He's got the inside into turn 1 this time. Phil Sell, is he going to have the drive to take the position? They're going to be side by side heading into the S's. This is intense.
On the inside, it is Jared Philsell, and it's going to be Madison Down who's going to get the bump. He got it. He got the momentum, and he'll take the lead, boys. That's going to stick. And for the first time today, Madison Down out in the lead. Let's see if he officially will lead this lap.
Now, we do have 10 laps remaining in this race. Now, how that all happened, they ran side by side coming down out of turn 1. Phil Sell had the high ground, but Madison Down had the grip and was able to hold on around the outside, which put him back onto the prime spot for the next corner, the next left-hander. Phil Sell is not letting him go. Let's see how these two respond and if a gap opens up or if the fight just continues with the roles reversed.
Yeah, let's check out Jared Philsell, boys, and notice how clean that windshield is. He's been out in the lead. Remember, we were on board with Madison Down just a few laps ago, how much debris was built up on that windshield. So it just shows that clean air that Jared Philsell has had all race. We haven't seen what Madison Down's car will do in clean air yet, and so far he looks really good out there.
As we say, Philsell closes up big time at the apex of the final corner. Madison Down hasn't run away with it, and he's had his best section of track, so let's see what happens to turn 1. This is where the move happened last time. They were side by side right here at this point of track, but Philsell closes right up at the apex, so Madison Down isn't running away. Back down through these sweeping S's. Normally you don't see a move happen here. You'll see a move come about as a result from side by side at turn 1. Banging over those curbs, those yellow corner markers is what we were talking about that Marlon McMullen had to run in. You don't want to hit those too hard. And this chicane is just a flat out blast down through a little drop. And here we reach this tight and twisty section of the track that Madison Down has looked so strong at throughout this race. We have got 9 laps to go, so we are at the business end of the race. All stops are completed. This is the run to the finish. The tyres will be a big talking point because we saw Madison Down sliding around big time through that onboard. I was actually impressed that he had enough grip to get the drive down out of turn 1, given that he was on the inside, JD.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm just blown away at these two all race. I mean, I still can't believe what we've seen. Normally you'll see guys get this racy for a while, but it kind of dies down after 10 or so laps. Not these two. No, sir. We're on lap 33, and it's still Jared Philsell or Madison Down's race.
Not just those two, it's the whole field. I've got to really hand it to all the drivers out there. They put on a show for us big time. There's still fights still through. 3rd place is not settled yet. There's a big fight to claim the final spot of the top 10. Though Cubis, we focused on that a little bit earlier. And all the way through the field, there's still big battles going on.
Yeah, Richard Hampstead. I mean, this podium is not set yet. Richard Hampstead still has a very good opportunity to catch Sean Kelly. And he's actually starting to close in, guys. Not a lot, but a little inch by inch. He is getting closer. And if he gets up there, there's still plenty of time for Richard Hampstead to claim a spot on this podium if Sean Kelly allows it.
Now, Reese, what do you got for us regarding a bit of news out from the pits here?
Yeah, I have got some news from TTR, and I do have a guarantee from TTR Spy Guy that this one is definitely true. So for all the spectators out there who are starting to doubt his words of wisdom, Madison Down has said that his car handled better in Jared Philsell's draft.
So it did handle better in dirty air than it did in up front and clean air.
Yeah, it seems so, and but Jared Philsell doesn't seem to be making as much headway on Madison Down as he might be.
Well, we're heading up towards that fun turn 1 here. Let's see what can happen now. Madison Down has quite a lead going into turn 1, but you know this is where that pass happened for the lead just a few laps back, and Madison Down definitely a beautiful job through turn 1. No problem there. Thanks a lot, Reese, for the updates. Keep them coming.
That's no problem, guys. Thank you.
You know, we thank Reese Gardner there. Fantastic pit report tonight. And always keeping us up to date on what the latest word is around the track. What look back here at 22nd with Philip Johansson, John Latham right here. Great battle right here between these two. And if you look just ahead of them too, Steven Sandman Clark and Bobby Jovanovic are really starting to go at it as well. So all through the field, there's great battles going on. And this one that we mentioned first, Philip Johansson and John Latham. John Latham looking to make a move. He actually makes contact right there with Philip Johansson through the final turn here and doesn't do anything. He tried to hit a little bump and run, as I like to say. But still, great battles all the way through. This is the battle for 22nd.
Latham is looking very racy, and these guys are in touch with that battle for 20th position. Sandman Clark holds it down, and we've got Jovanovic up there as well. So all it's got to take is those two guys to get side by side, and Johansson's going to be all over him. John Latham's car is looking pretty tight and straight though compared to the others. He is definitely hustling on the back of that 555 machine.
Normally we speak of a top 20 spot, and it's kind of the back of the pack. Guys, a top 20 today is a great finish. You have a 40 car field, or virtually a 40 car field, and top 20, you're in the top half, so that's a great finishing spot when you consider the names that are on this track right now. This is the best of the best, guys.
But you got to remember, when we talk about great results and we're talking about Philip Johansson, that man started in position number 36, so that's been a huge drive from him.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you got a guy starting all the way in 36th position in that 555 car, and Philip Johansson has had a beautiful race. And right now in front of him, looks like he'd like to get around teammate of his, and then he'd have to deal with Sandman. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. We're fixing to start lap 35 for these boys. Our leader's already on 35. So we'll keep an eye on this. Look like he's going to have a move to the inside here. And let's see what happens. It could be a pass around Sandman, and that's what we're going to have for the moment. But Sandman, we've seen him use the outside before, and that was close. Contact, we're door to door going through turn 2. As we head toward the S's section, something's got to give, boys. Who's going to have to lay back? Sandman going side by side through the S's. Are you serious? And Sandman will retain the position.
I've never seen that done, guys.
It's not over yet. There you go. That's 2 by 2 and all. Big contact. Sandman sideways. He must have had a cut track. He had to back out of it big time.
Oh, he got a cut track. It's so unfortunate because that was just barely a cut track. Oh, tough call from the big race stewards, the automatic ones.
Absolutely. You can't question them.
That's right.
Gee, 2 by 2 all the way through the S's. As you said, I have not seen that done.
It is Sandman slowed down. It looks like Philip Johansson made contact with his rear, so unfortunate for Sandman.
Guys, while all this is going on, Madison Town has went over a second lead over Jared Filso at one point. So he is starting to do well. He may have said his handling doesn't feel as good out in clean air, but it's showing different.
Yeah, and Filso's times have dropped off. He's lost about 2 to 3 tenths a lap since he's got behind Madison. So his car obviously doesn't like the dirty air.
Yeah, not at all. It looks like he's fallen back. And as with this thing, it's only got 5 laps remaining, really less than that now. So we're looking at about 4 laps left, really, as they're fixing to start a new lap.
What is impressive to note with those lap times is the way that there is a massive fall off. You see Madison Down's best lap was a 32.6. He's just done a 34.6. They've dropped 2 seconds over the course of this lap.
Now, go ahead, but I was just going to say, remember, the guy that should have the best tires right now is Jake Burton. Now, Jake is back in 9th place. He came out of the pits in 12th, so he has gained a few positions since. But Jake Burton has a long way to go to catch 8th place driver Dean O'Brien. So I don't think he's going to be quite much of a factor as far as getting up in another battle.
Yeah, he's in a bit of a no man's land there, unfortunately. But I was just going to draw attention to another pretty prestigious fight that's on, and that is the battle for the final spot in the top 5.
We got big news. Richard Hampstead right now is going to catch a slip up from Sean Kelly, and Richard Hampstead will move into 3rd. This is huge move here from Richard Hampstead. Sean Kelly with a slip up, and here comes Sean Kelly to try to rebound and regain his position, but shut down again. The door is shut from Richard Hampstead. Great job to stay on his toes right there.
Now that's going to be the final podium spot, but I tell you what, we're going to have to watch over these final laps, guys. Looking at the lap times, even as they're fighting, they are closing in on Jared Filsell. Filsell's doing 34.7s, but Kelly and Hampstead are doing 34.3s and 34.4s. There's going to be 3 laps to go this time by. Madison Down going to tick off another one. Although that time as well from Madison wasn't that great, a 34.7. I'm just amazed at the amount of drop-off these tyres have had.
Boy, Jared Filsell 135.065. That
Ouch.
is a lot of time drop there from Jared Filsell. Not looking good from him right now. He's had such a phenomenal race. I don't want to make him sound bad of just a couple, that's a couple tenths off though. But still, he's had such a great race. But if he keeps falling off, guys, Richard Hampstead's coming.
I bet I'll tell you, Filsell will be cheering hard for Sean Kelly right now, because Sean Kelly might be Filsell's saving grace, because if he gets Hampstead caught up, Filsell's going to be safe for second. Of course, that's no guarantee. Filsell's tyres look like they're definitely cooked, but as you said, great drive from him, took the lead from the start, has led the most laps in the race and put on a huge fight to hold off Madison down, and I think he'd still be very happy with the podium.
I bet Filsell's tires are blistered at this point. I mean, they are just got to be shredded up as much as he's sliding and losing.
After 38 laps and over an hour's worth of racing, the top four only covered by just on 4 seconds. So
that's
Madison down holding the biggest gap out of all of them. The second, third, and fourth only covered by around 2 seconds at the moment.
Madison Down's current lead, he's got 1.7 that last time by, extends it this time to 2 second lead. That is the biggest lead we have seen this entire race.
All right, boys, this time by, this will be the next time that Madison Down comes by, the white flag will be in the air. It will be the final lap for this race, and I tell you what, if you're Madison Down, all that you have fought for, it all comes down so it's your race to lose now, so it's all up to him. Can he hold what he has? It's all going to happen in the next lap and a half, boys. Here it is.
And
last time around, guys. So I was going to say, last time around, it was 8 tenths quicker to Richard Hampstead catching Jared Filsell.
You were thinking exactly what I was thinking. I was going to say the man who's got to fight hard is going to be Filsell. Already we see a lap and a half remaining, and Richard Hampstead is all over him.
This is a good battle for position right here, boys. Richard Hampstead saw the opportunity. He knows what's going on up there in Jared Filsell's car. He knows that those tires are shot, and he sees it. He's going for it right now, but I think Richard Hampstead's starting to have a little tire fall off of his own as well, guys. He's sliding around pretty good.
That'll be the same for everybody. Everyone will be fighting tires, and it's going to come down to who's able to manage that tyre wear the best and who's able to adapt to the changing performance the best. But the guy who has done the best job throughout the field so far is Madison Down. He's going to round the final corner and start the last lap of the race.
Yeah, white flag waving now. This is the official last lap here, and it's going to be a heck of a turn one for Richard Hampstead and Jared Filsell, guys. Watch close, because I got a feeling it's going to be a side-by-side down the hill. No, good job, Filsell. Good job.
Yeah, Filsell ran him to the pit wall that time, so he's definitely very defensive. We saw how well he was able to hold up Madison Down for such a long time. So Hampstead, he's only got one final run through this track to make it happen.
Oh man, fantastic job right here from Jared Filsell. Defensive driving up here, trying to hold on to second place. And I'm telling you, with no tires, literally no tires, he is holding him off for the moment.
He's running out of corners to get the job done, but Hampstead's certainly looking very strong.
I'm thinking that he might, he's going to have a punt coming up through either the long right-hander coming up towards that, or the last 2 turns. He might just have to try and take a dive. That's his last opportunity. Not going to make it happen through here. 2 corners to go after this long right-hander. Madison Down's clear ahead. There's a bit of traffic, but he won't catch them.
Boys, here it is.
Madison Down, he comes down.
Oh, coming across for the final time, your winner of week 1, Madison Down.
They were side by side for second. I think that Hampstead made contact with Filsell. They had to back it off, so Madison Down, the winner. Filsell second, Hampstead third, your podium, and Sean Kelly not far off it in fourth. What a result, what a race.
Oh man, Mitchell McLeod comes across 5th. Lee Ellis gonna make it across. Wait a minute, what happened there with Lee Ellis there? He's 6th, and Tony Autridge 7th. Good job there.
Yeah, Jake Burton made the tyres work for him, came home in position 9. Bo Cubis able to hold on too. He was in a big fight throughout most of this race.
Leighton Fine going to come across in 11th, just missing the top 10. A big day for him. Didn't mention him enough. He had a great day as well. Also, Matthew Hill had a fantastic run. Wayne Bork, we saw him in several battles today. He comes across in 13th, boys. And then a name we haven't talked about all day. He's kind of been quiet, but he's moved up nicely. He started the day actually in 21st and finished this race in 14th. That's Chad Chastain. Good job, Chad.
Yeah, there was certainly a lot of guys in that mid-pack that we haven't really got to cover. Damien Butler, Michael Schreier, 15th, 16th, 17th spots. Great races by those guys.
Yeah, Tobias Cerny is another strong international. Ian Ford and John Latham. So Latham was able to get the best of that big 4-car fight that we focused on. Unfortunately, we missed that one, but Latham ahead of Jovanovic, Johansson, and Sandman Clark.
It's an awesome job by John Latham. That was a fun. I wish we could have seen that. There's just so much action at the front. It's hard to keep an eye on all of it.
But of course, the man in position number 1, Madison Down, took the first pole position, took the first win, takes the lead of the series. And I tell you what, it looks like he must have been cutting it close because he's out of fuel on the pace lap.
No burnouts from Madison.
No.
He's getting a nice push there.
That'd be the only disappointment I expect for him. The only thing went wrong all night. He would have loved to have a bit of a spin for us, but couldn't make it happen. But congratulations to the podium there, Down, Philsell and Hampstead. That's a great way to start this championship. And you know, I've got a big feeling about how it's all going to go. It's going to be an intense fight every single week that we go to, every single track that we go to, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, certainly. It's already proved to be a very exciting series. The racing all through the field, in not just this race but the development race as well. Couldn't ask for a better start to the series.
Yeah, boys, this has been a fantastic start to this series. I think that this is going to be a wonderful 7-race series, and Circuit of the Americas, really a tough place to kick off a series for these drivers. Very technical track, and a lot different for them. A lot of drivers really struggle with this place, but I tell you what, the field was so close today, the racing throughout the entire field, and you mentioned it in the development series as well. I was very shocked. I thought these guys performed above and beyond expectations, and I believe this series is going to be one heck of a series at the end.
Absolutely, and you know, it's such a encouraging sort of result to see this, which is a completely new take on what we know of online motor racing, especially what we know of online V8 supercar racing. We're trying to change the game a bit, trying to mix things up, and I think it couldn't have gone any better. It'd be great to talk to the drivers once they get in here to get their thoughts on it. Whilst we're waiting for everyone to file on through, we'll run through those race results, those official results now, as you see for yourself. Madison Down taking the win from pole position, but it was Jared Filsell who led the most laps, 25 laps. There were 4 lead changes in the race, by the way. Hampstead, Kelly and McLeod, that top 5, followed by Ellis, Autridge, O'Brien, Burton and Cubis, the top 10.
Well, as we look back to 11th, it was Leighton Fine just missing out on a top 10 finish. Great day for him. Matthew Hill 12th. Wayne Bork will be 13th. Coming across 14th, it was Chad Chastain of the SDC Motorsports. Curtis Chipaway did come across in 15th from the Powerbond team. Damian Butler 16th. Michael Schreier ended up 17th. 18th, Tobias Zerny. Ian Ford 19th. And rounding out that top 20, winning that 4-car battle, John Latham.
Yeah, in 21st, Bobby Jabenkovic, Philip Johansson in 22nd. Great drive from him. Sandman Clark fell back a couple at the end there for 23rd. Corey Preston got 24th. In 25th, Christopher Dickinson. Then the first of the cars that are lapped down in Nigel Baines, Todd Parks, Marlon McMullen, and Matt Yeomans. And then 30th spot was Blake Coppo, 2 laps down.
As we get to this end of the field, there are a couple of guys that had dramas. You see Brad Smith 31st, Kurt Stenberg, Hayden Dodman and Robert Hooper were the last guys running. We also had Renz Brookman, Michael Fulcher, Richard Aylward and Dylan Shepherd all drop out of the race for various reasons. But what a field. That's a very strong field of drivers. All the big names, a lot of other fast up-and-comers, and you see a lot of passing, a lot of great racing, a lot of action tonight, and I think that there's going to be a lot to talk about, and everyone's going to be looking forward to the next one.
Oh, you better believe it. That was something else. I'm already looking forward to the next one, and I mean, just moments after finishing this first one, I think that it's a great format. The setup, all the way from the qualifying, all the way to the racing through the development series, and then this final race. It was unbelievable. We couldn't ask for a better finish there, especially from Madison down and Jared Philsell. Those two really put on a great show for us. Looks like we have some drivers maybe getting ready to come in for an interview or two. So I'll start to bring some in here in just a moment if we can. There they go. I'll let you lead off, Mr. Leo.
Well, it's a new era in online V8 Supercar racing. The first pole position and the first win does go to Madison down in that Ultimate Karting Sydney Falcon. Mads, how does that compare, and how does it feel to be the first winner in the online Premier Series?
Yeah, pretty bloody awesome, Leo. Thanks. Track I struggled with a bit over the last week, but yeah, we prepared pretty nicely there in the last few nights, and yeah, I was pretty surprised to grab pole actually. I didn't quite have the 1 lap speed, but I knew I was going to have a pretty strong race car, and yeah, awesome race for the lead-all race along with Jared as well. Had an absolute blast, and there was a few passing attempts made, and yeah, it all worked out in the end. But yeah, great. What a series. Really looking forward to the rest of it, and yeah, tonight looked like it ran pretty smoothly.
Well, I tell you, it was an awesome one to spectate. It was a great race to watch. We're really eager to know what it was like from the driver's perspective in terms of the new format, the new rules, and the new weather. How does that change your position on things?
Yeah, quite a lot actually. You don't really know how fast you are through the week until you get to pre-qualifying, where it's the same weather for everyone. So it's quite hard to know how your setup and how your pace is. So yeah, come Thursday night, it was pretty exciting to see who was where. But again, yeah, you mentioned weather and it changing. It was completely different tonight, and the car felt quite a bit different tonight compared to the pre-qualifying servers. So you just got to adapt to it, change your driving technique slightly, and yeah, go with it. But great format tonight. That 30-minute all-in qualifying as well. Massive change for us in the series. So that was a blast as well. So yeah, I loved it. Can't wait for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we can't wait either, mate. Looking forward to the next one. The first one down, and we've seen that it worked. We've seen it was a massive success. So congratulations. Hats off to the first ever win and taking the championship lead. No doubt you're looking forward to backing it up at Watkins Glen.
Cheers, Leo. Thanks for that.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Madison, on a fantastic performance here. But we also had another driver that gave Madison a run for his money. Let's have a wonderful word here with Jared Philsell. Jared, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, JD. Yeah, very good after that race. I wasn't expecting to be on the front row to be honest, because when I was testing in the practice, it was the car didn't like the realistic weather at all, so I wasn't overly pleased with the quality result. But well.
Well, I'll tell you what, the qualifying result may have not been up to you what you had thought it would be, but take me back to the start of this race. You had, what's it like sitting there? You have 38 drivers behind you. You're starting on the pole there with next to Madison down. You get off to that fantastic start. What's it like? What's in your mind going up to that turn one? How'd you get off to such a great start?
I actually stuffed up. I was going to do a practice start, which I usually do, and I didn't, and I actually got a decent start. I seen Madison just completely bogged down, so yeah, it's unusual for me to get a good start.
Well, it ended up being a great start. You led the majority of this race, and I tell you what you and Madison did up front, y'all two put on one heck of a battle. I don't know, how did you keep it up with the pressure that he put on for so long?
My tyres were absolutely gone after about 15 laps into the stint. At the end of the race there, I had more 10% more front wear on the tyres than the rears, so that probably explains why I couldn't turn at all. I was just waiting for Madison to make a dive. He did once, but yeah, I was happy to let him go and run my own race from there on.
Well, I tell you what, it was an amazing feat, especially we could tell the tires were blistered and they were falling off. But I tell you what, at the end of the race, you did a wonderful job of holding on to that second place finish, and now you're second in the points. It's going to be just a fantastic. How does that make you feel going into race 2 here in this Premier Series? Think about that. This is the best of the best in the biz, and you're already starting off second.
That's good. We'll see how we go in 2 weeks' time at Watkins. I like that track, but I'm not sure how I'll go with the new tyre model there, so we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely. Well, Jared, what a fantastic performance, buddy. We thank you for stopping by. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here?
No, that's all. Thanks.
In
All right.
third spot there, we got Richard Hampstead. Fantastic race from you, Richard, but qualifying didn't seem to go the way you wanted it. Could you talk us through that, mate?
Well, basically I had a total brain fart and just pulled over at the end of my hot lap and escaped back to pits, so got disqualified, and rightly so. Yeah, I just completely forgot. Even when Hilly told me I'd been disqualified, I had no recollection of doing it at all. So just total habit, total brain fart. So that was my fault.
Yeah, it was something that we touched on in the pre-race. Guys have been reassigning their escape keys just so they don't hit it out of habit. So totally unfortunate for you, but certainly made up for it in the race. I think you moved up 3 or 4 spots on the first lap.
Yeah, I got an average start, but I picked a good line through turn 1, and I think got up to 6th from 9th, and then made a few moves early on Renz and on Lee Ellis. Jumped, I think, Tony and Sean in the pit stop, but then got a slowdown. That hurt me pretty badly, I think. And then I seemed to have pretty good pace at the end of the race and caught up to the back of Jared, but couldn't get anything done.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. You're obviously one of the first to pit in the race, and your tyres seem to be holding on the best at the end. Certainly had a lot more speed over the front 2 guys.
Yeah, I think possibly Jared and Madison might have killed their tyres battling each other. I tried to look up to mine pretty much as soon as the pit stop, straight after the pit stop. So my plan was to just stay behind them and have a go at the end, but unfortunately I got that slowdown, so that stuffed that up a bit.
Yeah, no, well, you must be confident. Third spot, you moved up 6 spots from your grid position, heading into the second round at Watkins Glen. Must be feeling pretty confident there.
Yeah, well, I think I had pretty good pace tonight, to be honest. So as long as I can, not escape during qualifying and make a few little less errors, hopefully it goes well.
All right, well, I'll leave it there. Leo,
Yeah.
You got the next guy there.
Absolutely. That's Sean Kelly joining us. Thanks for dropping in, Sean, and a great race for yourself. How do you find this this new game, the Online Premier Series?
Oh, hey guys. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, absolutely loving it today. Yeah, it wasn't without its issues. Only had 2 minutes to join the grid before the race, and ended up loading my a setup with 3.25 gear ratios. So I didn't realise until the first lap, and so that made it interesting. Then I had a graphics issue a lap or 2 before I pitted, and so I managed to alt tab out in my pit stop, and that came right. And yeah, then it's a tyre management game, and I had a great little battle with Hampstead, and I just couldn't quite hold on at the end. So well done, Madison and everyone, and it's been an awesome race night.
Yeah, it was a great thing to watch, and it looked like you had your hands full throughout the whole race. There was a part there I looked through, and was pretty sure there wasn't one guy on the track who had a bit of clear road to him. So, how do you think it's changed this new Premier Series? Obviously, we're seeing some very intense racing. There's a lot to fight for, and what are your thoughts on it all?
Yeah, well, I think it's you're a bit unknown going into the qualifying and race, and of course with the format it can mix it up a little bit, and it's not going to take much for something to go wrong. So yeah, just to be finish the race in good position is really what you want to be aiming for. But it's pretty awesome with the time management, and seems to create a bit of a variety.
Well, great start to the season for you. A lot of great racing. It must have been fun out there. I hope you enjoyed it, and no doubt you'll be looking forward to the next one like we all are.
Yep, sure am. Yeah, thanks to TTR and Hybrid Racing Simulations. Cheers, guys.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, let's go ahead and talk to Mitch McLeod, who had a fantastic performance. How you doing, Mitch?
Yeah, not too bad after that. That was all hot and sweaty now.
I tell you what, Mitch, looking at you, first of all, I want to ask you, what did you think about this qualifying, the no exit format? How did that affect you the first time you tried?
It didn't really affect me in any way. It was sort of a bit difficult to find a clear bit of road, and you've always had slow cars going around in front of you when you're trying to do your hot lap. But you know, you got to deal with that. It was the same for everyone. I just didn't do a good enough job in quali and ended up in P11. And you know, I should have been top 5 if I had done a decent job. But oh well, I made up for it in the race, and I'm pretty stoked with the performance. So yeah, it's all good.
Well, I'll tell you what, starting 11th did a fantastic job, Mitch, working your way up to top 5 here in this week 1 event. What was kind of your thoughts and strategy as you looked ahead at this race today?
Basically, stay out of trouble. I knew it was going to be a fair bit of carnage to begin with, and I just didn't want to get caught up in too much. So yeah, just try to keep my nose clean, not to use my tyres up too much, which I think I did after the pit stop. I just pushed a little bit too hard trying to gain position, so didn't quite have the pace at the end and got a cut track, and then had Lee Ellis right behind me, and we had a bit of a battle as well. And yeah, no, pretty happy to be in 5th overall though.
Fantastic job. We head off to Watkins Glen next time, or it'll be 2 weeks from right now. And how's that going to be for you? Is that Watkins Glen is one of your strong suits there?
Yeah, I usually don't go too bad at Watkins, so fingers crossed that form continues. But you never know. That as we're seeing in pre-qualifying and even qualifying tonight, it's just everything's so close. So yeah, it's going to be tough work, and especially around there, the Cup circuit. So yeah, times will be even closer there.
Boy, I'm going to be going nuts, Mitch. I look forward to seeing what you do next week, but congratulations on a top 5 here.
Cheers, guys. I can't wait.
Sounds good. That's Mitchell McLeod, everybody.
Yeah, next in the queue we got Lee Ellis, who finished in 6th position. How did you find the qualifying, Lee?
It was pretty bad in some spots. Got balked into turn 1 lots of times. I thought the stewards may have picked that up, but didn't. And after that, I kind of just lost interest. Not so much interest, lost motivation to go faster. Had more time in me, just couldn't do it. Yeah.
Okay, was that guys coming out of pit lane putting you off and heading into turn 1?
Oh, definitely. They were just parked on the apex or right near the apex, and what are you meant to do?
Yeah.
You meant to go in there full ball with people sitting there, but oh.
Well, you brought it home in 6th in the race. The car had a few battle scars. Quite a good battle there with Mitch at the end. How'd you find that?
Yeah, not bad. I almost rolled it a few times, but I guess the panel beaters for TTR are going to be quite busy over the weekend. Mitch, I thought I was going to get him, and I thought I was going to turn him a few times as well, but no, it was decent.
And the setup you had in the car, it seemed to hold up okay over the longer distance in that longer stint?
Oh, it was the rocket. If I didn't have damage, I might have been up there a bit, but we definitely did a bit of setup work during the week and pulled out a decent one.
Alright, well, thanks. Yeah. Well, thanks for having a chat to us. We'll look forward to seeing you racing in 2 weeks' time over at Watkins Glen, and I'll hand it over to you, Leo.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, because we've got Dean O'Brien here with us. Dean brought the Osram car home in 8th position. Welcome to the top 10 of the Premier Series, Dean.
Cheers, fellas. It was a really strong run for me tonight, and pretty stoked with it, actually.
Yeah, it looked like an intense race out there. You started from position 15 and brought it home in 8th, so that's a very strong charge through the field. Mate, there were some great battles throughout all of that, and how'd you find the racing?
Yeah, the racing's always really close in this car, and especially with the caliber of drivers we've got in this series, it's always going to be pretty full on. So, you know, the car was going to be pretty good in race trim. I'd done some official sessions, races, and on different tracks, and the race setup was really good. So I was hoping it would carry through into this race like it did. I did a bit of a poor effort in qualifying, but was able to bring it home in a pretty decent spot. It was a bit of good pit strategy as well.
I'd say that's a very decent spot, mate, given the starting spot. Bring it home in 8th, and looks like on the timesheets you were fighting very hard to reach that 7th position too. A pretty short season, only 7 races, but with Watkins Glen coming up, no doubt you and the Osram boys are looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's a tough track actually to race on. Watkins, it's always really close, and you really can't make any mistakes or you lose a whole bunch of positions. So hopefully we can carry the form through to next round, and hope for the best. Another top 10 would be excellent.
Sounds good to me, mate. We'll see you then.
Cheers, fellas.
All right, boys, let's bring in next. Let's have a good word with Jake Burton in the Sim Instruments Motorsports Falcon. How's it going, Jake?
I'm fantastic, JD. How are you?
Oh, doing wonderful, buddy. How about that race today? Tell me about in qualifying session what it's like making moves on the fly, having the realistic weather, not knowing how the car's going to perform up until the moment you arrive for qualifying.
I love it. You're under a hell of a lot of pressure. You can't just do heaps of laps throughout the week and several separate sessions and expect to get up high in the grid. You're half an hour and you only get probably 4 or 5 fast runs because you got to do the in lap as well, of course. So it was very interesting, and I seemed to cope with it fairly well and put it inside the top 10 in qualifying. So I was pretty happy.
Yeah, you did a wonderful job. Did you have any help with adjustments, or did you do that all on the fly on your own?
Not really. I obviously had a great setup given to me by Madison this week, which worked really well. But yeah, I just kind of muted myself that race and tried to zone into it and make sure that I can drive consistently. And yeah, it was really good. The car felt really good in the first stint. Lasted it out like 22 laps and led a few laps, which was always cool. But yeah, just a bit of a sucky second stint, unfortunately.
Yeah, you kind of touched on my next question there. I was going to ask you about the pit strategy. You were the last car to find pit road, therefore giving you probably the freshest tires near the end of the race. But tell me a little bit about how the car and why you chose to pit late.
Well, I've done a relatively fair amount of racing so far this season on the new car, and I've noticed that the later you pit, you're better, and my car never really went off. I was still doing times 4 or 5 tenths off my best in that first stint, 20 laps in, and I just didn't really get why everyone was pitting so early. And yeah, it worked really well, but then I came out behind a couple cars that undercut me, and I think it was the High-Tech Oils car that held me up for 6 or 7 laps, which destroyed the tyres and lost me quite a lot of time, which is unfortunate, but well, onwards and upwards to next week.
Absolutely. Well, thanks a lot, Jake, for having a word with us. We sure do appreciate it, buddy. You have a good one. We look forward to seeing you next time at Watkins Glen.
I believe the next guy in the queue was Curtis Chipaway, qualified 13th. Curtis finished the race in 15th. How did you find tonight?
It was challenging, that qualifying session. I really struggled in that. I think it was the second lap I did. It was decent, but I felt I could have got a top 10 if I hadn't had that incident with Renz.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. Renz got a slowdown or whatever was that caused him to come back a little bit, and you were having a fantastic battle for a while there, and unfortunately he made a mistake and he got the penalty, but you got the damage, did you?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened when he came back, but my car never felt right after that, and I had pushed pretty hard trying to get positions early in the race. So.
And you found the tyres hung on good enough at the end, or were you struggling like most of the other drivers?
Yeah, the last probably 3 laps or so, the tires fell off. Other than that, they were great. First stint, they fell off really quick, but I pushed it way too hard.
Oh, well, thanks for making the effort, getting up early over there in Canada, I believe. So thanks for making the effort, and we look forward to seeing you race at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely looking forward to that track. This track is definitely not one of my favorites. Watkins Glen definitely is.
We've got another great international joining us, Tobias Cerny in the comms box. Qualified 18th, brought it home a consistent 18th, and mate, you gotta love this sort of racing. Of course, it gets you up so early, hey? What do you reckon?
Yeah, hey guys. Well, for me it's not that early, it's just around midday, and was a fantastic close racing in the first couple of laps, and of course for us internationals always a bit scary with all the Australians around, and yeah, with the high pings, but it was pretty close, fun, good racing there.
Absolutely, mate. How do you find the new format? This is a new era that we're bringing through, changing things up a bit. And obviously, it's gotten a lot of people's attention, not just throughout Australia, but throughout the world. And how's it feel to be a part of?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm really proud to be a part of this year. That you guys allow the internationals to join, and usually it works all fine. The format with the qualifier, I was not sure the first lap, and all the guys went out there, and it was like a massive traffic jam, like a show off of all the cars. Nobody could really go because they wanted to leave a gap of a few seconds to the guy ahead. And yeah, I was really not unsure if we might still stand in the last sector when the first guys on the flyer are already approaching that. But it went all fine, and yeah, we got enough time in this 30 minutes to set a good time.
Yeah, it seems like the guys at OSR setting this up have done everything, thought it through and done it all pretty well. I think it's pretty impressive from our point of view, and the feedback from the drivers all sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the broadcast. It must be an amazing battle up front, and like also the live stewards. Unfortunately, I also want to apologize to Michael Fulcher that I turned around. I didn't get penalized in the race, but afterwards, so I will be more careful next time, and yeah, see how it goes.
Right, Tobias, we'll see you at Watkins Glen, buddy.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, boys. Next, it's going to be, let's have a word with one of our own here, Stephen Sandman Clark, and let's talk to him. How you doing, buddy?
G'day, JD. How are you, mate?
Oh, I'm fantastic, man. Nothing like getting ready for some action like we just saw. Literally action from the front of the field to the rear. It never was a dull moment, and especially part of that was you. Saw a wonderful four-car battle with you. And tell us a little bit about some of those heated battles you were in today.
Mate, sensational racing from everyone involved. This series has really stepped it up a level, and mate, we can't thank everyone enough who's involved. But Hybrid Racing Simulations Falcon was sensational at the start. We unfortunately got caught up in that first turn incident, and I tried to go wide to miss the carnage and got a little bit of damage to the car, so that upset it. Was a little bit of a handful for those opening couple of laps. I think myself and Marlon had a pretty good battle there, but the car was pretty ordinary, and unfortunately, that led to an early pit stop a bit earlier than I wanted. So the tyres probably didn't hang in there as well as I would have liked towards the end. But like you said, it was a fantastic battle there. I think it was Latham, Janovic, Johansson, all of us there were having a great battle, and unfortunately gave away a couple of spots there at the end. It was just a matter of it was a good side-by-side battle. I think it was Latham that he and I were side-by-side, but unfortunately, I tried to give him as much room as I could, and unfortunately, I exceeded the track limits and I had a slowdown penalty, so I had to give up those 3 spots. But nevertheless, we live and learn, and it was great racing.
Absolutely, Sam, man. And it was funny watching the Hybrid Racing Simulations 4. We saw that slowdown penalty, and unfortunately, it looks so close, and it's hard to beat that automatic stewards there, that's for sure. It was a close call, but just what a fantastic performance. You have to take the confidence that you had today and bring it 2 weeks from now as we head over to Watkins Glen. I know you have to love the Glen, buddy. Tell me about it.
Nothing wrong with the Glen, mate. No doubt the Cup boys in real life are going to put on a good show for us in the coming hours. But it was yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's been a good preparation this week. I'm pretty lucky to have the guys at TTR and everyone at Hybrid Racing Simulations there for their support. For an old guy that has been pretty much spent time in the commentary box and not enough time on the racetrack, these guys give me all the support they can, and really helpful with setups. And I'm blessed to be with such a great team. I didn't really enjoy this racetrack coming into it, but we got a handle on it as much as I could for Circuit of the Americas. But like you said, bring on Watkins Glen, mate. I can't wait.
Sounds great. That is Stephen Sandman Clark, everybody, and it's good to talk to you, brother.
Thanks, mate. All the best for the rest of the season.
Next in the queue, I think Corey Preston, mate. How did you find qualifying first up?
M3 motorway pile-up traffic jam. It was like in the early minutes of qualifying, especially in the back section, there was just cars 5 and 6 wide, and like this was like 4 rows back, and everybody was trying trying to find a space, and then you had faster guys coming up from behind, and it's like, it's trying to find a space in that early part of quali was difficult, and my quali probably suffered because of it.
Yeah, certainly it's going to be an aspect of this series, especially when we go to smaller tracks. The amount of cars getting out there on qualifying, and the fact that you got to do the in lap as well as the out lap and your fast lap, it's got a lot more pressure on guys to get out quick. So yeah, you're going to have to really fight for the position.
Definitely.
But with your race, mate, how did you find that?
I think I need a lawnmower or a sand plow rather than a motor car.
I love Corey. I love you, Corey.
Got a few off tracks, mate.
Yeah, it wasn't so much the off tracks. It's just I think I was ended up facing the wrong way round at one of the hairpins due to someone's poor judgment, and ended up skating through the sand because another person's poor judgment. But anyway, that's a different story, and it was dealt with. And but yeah, after I got spun in the first stint, tires were ruined. They were terrible. But once I got on the second set of tires, the car felt better, and I could punch out, consistent low 30 or high 34s and just mid 35s, and I was starting to catch the group in front of me. I think I had Philip Johansson, Sandman, and a couple of other people in there, and I got a little bit greedy in the second last lap, went for a bit of a lunge at Sandman, and as soon as I put my foot on the brake pedal, she's pinched the rear brakes. I've gone in there backwards, just thankful that I didn't take poor Sandman out, and yeah, I managed to hold off Christopher Dickinson at the end. So my race was pretty good. I recovered well, in my opinion.
Certainly finishing mid-pack in this field is quite an achievement. We did get to see quite a few of the battles in that mid-pack, and they were certainly exciting. But you're looking forward to Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I am. A lot more fast-flowing, open, straight lines instead of, accelerate, stop, brake, turn, repeat. This track was bad, particularly in the back section. I was struggling there. I just having to put the power on and then stop it and then put the power on again. It was just tedious.
Well, thanks for coming in and having a chat to us after such a long race, mate. And yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks, Brooksy. And really thanks to putting on the series. Excellent.
Yeah, thanks to all the drivers involved and everyone coming in. Next one we've got is Ian Ford. Great drive by Ian. Story of the day was people charging through the field from outside the 30th into top 20 position. Ian, how'd you find all that?
I found it pretty difficult. I overtook about 9 cars in the first corner and managed to spin it at the second hairpin, so that put me back, and I just, put my head down, charged forward, and I think me and Blake Coppo both had pretty much the fastest times for most of the race other than Madison and Jared, so that's good to look forward to in the Enduros and stuff.
Well, sounds like with that you must have passed the whole field twice. A lot of action out there, a lot of great racing, and tell you from our point of view, it was a great thing to watch. But to be a part of all that, mate, how do you find all the changes, and what do you think of this new format we're putting together?
Oh, I love the new format. The first track could have been a bit nicer, but qualifying with realistic weather is just, if you get it right, you get it right. If not, you're going to bin it pretty much, and you just have to make it around for the extra lap. And racing in realistic weather is a lot better than fixed weather because, wind changes, car balance changes a lot more. And with the new tyre model and everything, it's going to be a good thing coming up to Watkins Glen.
Absolutely, mate. You must be looking forward to that one from the sounds of things then.
Oh, hell yeah. I love tracks where you can just draft and, put the foot down, don't have to lift for another couple of seconds. It's nice to have an old school track on the schedule, and hopefully we do well.
Absolutely, mate. Well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking part in the events this week, and we'll see you next time at Watkins Glen in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you. Thanks for the broadcast once again.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure for us to bring this action to you guys, and thanks to everyone for watching and taking part. It's a new era, as we've mentioned, for V8 Supercar racing and the online racing, and I think it's really kept us all satisfied. Couldn't be happier with how it's gone from my point of view.
The excitement level tonight, Leo, was through the roof, mate. The driving, outstanding. The professionalism of the OSR guys putting that on was outstanding. I thought everything ran quite smoothly. And of course, the admin guys, huge amount of work. I've got to do a couple of shout outs. Guys behind the scenes, Sean Kelly, John Emerson, Jay Kennedy, Simon Black. Guys have been instrumental in getting this series up and running. And it seems at this stage to be going quite smoothly with a hell of a lot of drivers pretty excited about it.
Not just drivers, but the community as well. There's a lot of people watching. Shout out to all of you, and of course our friends from all around the world getting involved. JD and Kane make it possible for us to broadcast this for you all. So big shout out and thanks to them boys. But we know you do it because you love it just the same as us.
Oh, 100%, brother. Wouldn't miss it for the world. And this is just seeing tonight. You know, of course, it was anticipating how this would turn out. I talked about at the beginning of the broadcast expectations, and I believe these guys have succeeded expectations 110%. This race was phenomenal, and you got to think if the racing was this good at a Circuit of the Americas where things were very congested out there, you cannot wait for 2 weeks at Watkins Glen, boys, because let me tell you something we've seen before, even when shorter fields, when we have times that are so close at Watkins Glens, what is going to happen with these 39 to 40 car fields at the Glen? I can't wait. You're not going to want to miss it.
Absolutely took the words right out of my mouth. One final person we'll have a bit of a chat to, we've got Simon Black here from OSR, of course, instrumental in putting all this together for us. So the first week done, first race is run and won. What are your thoughts on the whole piece, Simon?
I think it went pretty well tonight. There's a lot of work that went into it, so we were a little bit worried initially that we'd get everything right, but I think 99% of things went the way we planned, so I think there was some great racing too, so pretty happy with it.
Obviously, big thank you for all the effort that's been put in, all the work that's been done to putting it all together, because we've had a great result for it, and should be very happy with what we got to show. I think there's going to be a lot of very keen drivers and spectators watching the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty exciting. I mean, the times just for the top 80 for that first race tonight were covered by about 2.5, 3 seconds, I think, so that's pretty close for 80 guys, so there'll be some exciting racing to come.
Absolutely, and of course everyone must be looking forward to when it all really kicks off, because of course those that don't know, we're doing a 7-round, I guess you'd say a trial of this new format, but what's happening after that when we head into the next year, into 2015, Simon?
I think 2015 will be something really similar to what we're doing now. We'll probably fine-tune it a little bit for next year, but very much along the same lines, and we hope to have fairly major endurance races as well with multiple drivers, so it'd be pretty interesting.
Absolutely, I love the way the directions are going with all this. It's going to be great. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for making all this possible, mate. And no doubt you're looking forward to the next one.
Looking forward to a week's break, then very much looking forward to Watkins Glen. And a big thank you and shout out to all the guys at OSR and the admin, Mike, Henry, Andy, all those guys, and Jay, who helped us out tonight as well, so thanks all to those guys.
Again, thank you to everybody that's been involved in whatever way you have been, whether you're watching, driving, or in the works behind the scenes, because it has been a great event, and it's been a great thing for us to be a part of. You know, I've certainly had a great time calling it, and hopefully you've all enjoyed it too. So, wow, first round, one and done. With a win on the board for Madison Down. A lot of great racing and a lot of new things for everybody to get used to. Closing thoughts, guys. Anything else to cover? Or what have we learned from tonight?
Boy, I tell you what, I have learned that this many cars can be on the track. I don't care what anybody said in the past. It definitely can be done, and not only be done, it can be done well. And when you get this talent on the track together, it doesn't matter if there's 40 cars or not. It's going to be a fantastic show.
Yeah, it's just built my excitement even more after tonight's events. Can't wait for Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time.
Of course, Reese, you're going to be busy in the pits, mate. Bit of a start tonight, but once we get to those enduros, I think you're going to have your hands full.
Oh yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. That's where the pit stuff really comes in, and yeah, definitely keeping. I'm looking for races.
Absolutely. So just a reminder to everybody, this championship is going to continue on from here. We've got a lot more to come. Join us in 2 weeks' time, race day, 24th of August. That's from Watkins Glen. Then we've got another couple of rounds coming from Road Atlanta, Donington Park. Road Atlanta is going to be exciting because that's going to be a 2-race format, another new change for everybody here. And then to close it out, we're going to hit to a bit of an Australian run. We've got Oran Park, Phillip Island, and an endurance race at Mount Panorama. Everyone is going to look forward to that one, and what a great way to close out the championship. And so to close out the evening, we're going to say a final goodbye and thanks to everybody. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. We hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a fantastic night of racing. Big congratulations to all the winners and grinners. But taking home the trophy tonight, Madison down.